It's been an awful long time since the days when I called you mine. I know, I gotta let go. Think back to you every day still. Wonder if you do the same. I know, I know. Oh, I know it's been way too long. Oh, I still wait for your name on my phone. You're always gonna make my day better. I'll always remember us to be better. Oh, that we really were. I know. You look through me like glass in the hall. No, you don't see me at all. I know. I gotta let go. Oh, I know it's been way too long. Oh, I still wait for your name on my phone. You're always gonna make my day better. I'll always remember us to be better. Oh,
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Hope you guys are all right out there, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me this morning. I didn't realize I was in so much pain until I sat down. It's like, if you see me moving around a bit more today, kind of gingerly, it's the back. But I'll try to do this. So thank you for joining me. Let's hang out. Let's do some stuff, and let's see what's on the radar today. I have collected a bunch of videos and stuff just so that we can watch and see some interesting stuff while I'm being busy with this. You're able to see some interesting things as well, music and whatever else going on. So what's in the box? Coming up is this really cool FUNDRAISER mesh, like this thing that we're doing all over the world, like in South America.
It is 2003, and we are in Chile.
Chile.
And
right.
Beer brand Cerveza Cristal have partnered with a trailblazing ad agency by the name of OMD Santiago. You see, all 6 Star Wars movies are about to air on Chilean television. And if ever there was a time to get your brand out there, it's now. The fact that Hollywood relies heavily on the financial backing of advertisers is no secret. Whether it's through co-promotion or integrated marketing campaigns, it pays to have branding in your movie. One of the most common ways advertisers finance Hollywood movies is through product placement, even having characters mention specific brands and comment on the quality of these brands with varying levels of success.
What kind of soap do you use? In the shower? Yeah. Dove? I like Dove. I like it. It doesn't dry your
All
skin
right,
out
so
much.
today, I'm going to move into designing the little, triangles.
Dunkachino?
Here,
Don't mind if I
over here.
You see, if a
And
movie
also
is
more
going to
detail
reflect the
this
real
one.
world, then it makes
And we'll,
sense that there would be branding
We'll
in
do
it, as there
a
is
line
branding
across
in
here
our
because
lives all the
it kind
time.
of feels
So
like
it's
gotta have
how
a
you
professional lip line, right,
reconcile
across the thing here.
the
That'll be the
advertiser's
next line. So I've
requests
given a bit of like
with
spray
your
just to
artistic
soften it up
integrity.
because
OMD
I
and
think
Cerveza
that
Cristal
way
have a problem
it
though.
is easier for me to move
6
without
Star Wars
pushing
movies
away
have already
at
been
my,
made,
at
and
the
not
lines.
one
Because
of them
part of this is
featured
the
the
more
cold,
way here.
cool, crisp,
So I got to make
refreshing
sure
sight of a
it is soft,
Cerveza
but not
Cristal.
too soft
That's
for
when
me when I'm going to
OMD
design.
Santiago had an idea.
You know,
They could film
what I'm
minimalist
doing now,
scenes
that was a bit too
featuring
soft.
the
I
beer
just realized that
and
it's most
edit
of
them
my lines,
into
but
the movie rather than
where that
interrupting the
is,
flow of
like
the
you see
action
here,
with an
right?
ad break. The
Kind
results, as you can imagine,
yeah, kind
are
of smudged. That'll
glorious.
be all right once it was 6 in. And then I'll just keep right. That's what I was going to do. So the last time I left it, we were going to do this, right? So there will be like this little little points, right? Like doing points driving. Is that how I need to do this? Because I'm always changing my mind when it comes to what I'm doing with my work, because I want it to be natural. I want it to be what, to look a certain way and feel. So I want 5, sorry. These are my time. And so
flown from one side of this galaxy
I need to
the other,
make
seen a
5
lot of
points
strange
that work
stuff, but I've never
right.
seen
So
anything
for me.
to make me believe there's one all-powerful force controlling everything. There's no mystical energy field controls my destiny.
Don't make me kill you. Anakin, my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy. If you're not with me, then you're my enemy. Only a Sith
Wait for it.
feels an absolute.
Wait for it.
I will do what I must.
Sí, te lo aseguro, estamos a salvo de tus amigos aquí.
Su debilidad es su exceso de confianza.
Tu fe en tus amigos es la tuya.
Es inútil resistir, hijo mío.
And how this did not catch on in a major way back in the noughties absolutely baffles me. As you could see at the start with 7, the possibilities for this kind of advertising are endless.
They really knew how to use it. Oh, this is a more modern one, right? So this is Spider-Man.
We have Vincent.
Here we have it.
Yes, that was kind of funny, wasn't it? Like, it's. I always find these things really interesting, like seeing how people advertise, because you know it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? Like advertising, and it's like you know, to get that sort of like what would you call it? Like um, those that sort of dollars really. Like, I mean, having somebody be able to afford to put you know advertise with you is such a huge thing. I mean, like you look at all the people who are like basically able to market themselves and stuff once they get to a certain thing. That's like us, right? If we like this channel, if it gets to a 1,000 or something, you can get like super chats, so people could actually talk to you and pay money to have that stuff read, or information they want that you can tell them that you haven't, depending, how, if you're long enough on YouTube, you know how super chats work. The other thing is that there is also advertisers will advertise on your on your platform. So like with me at the moment, I've realized that the reason that like we're not being exposed more to more viewers is because I keep putting in for mature audiences, right? Because sometimes I'll swear, and so that's kind of like I kind of don't want the young audiences to come in, but then again, that's like stopping my from a deeper reach, because we talk a lot to creatives on here, and so and the reason I do that is to learn, and also that other people could learn as well. But if I'm putting it for if I'm doing it for children, if I'm doing it for mature audiences, that means that like I'm actually cutting off like the 15-year-old to 18-year-old, right, or 13-year-old, and so those guys aren't hearing how to get into business as an artist and stuff like that, how to be business minded when an art. So that's something that I think is very important. Like, it's something that I've really kind of like want to do that as part of this channel. So here's something that a friend of mine posted that was shared, that somebody else posted, right? So somebody else made this. So this is the number one problem for artists. So I thought I'll watch this with you guys this morning, and and see what's being said, and then later, we'll have a look at go through it, and hopefully I don't bore you too much this morning. All right, so let's have a look at this link in there. So it's there for you guys. Number one problem for artists, and this is from New Zealand, so it's local content, and the channel is, who created this? So the Christine Nee. So so this is about at Weta Workshop, right? So this is the information here. At Weta Workshop in New Zealand, I talked with Greg Broadmoor, a concept artist for District 9 in Avatar, right? So the big name dude, right? Greg stressed beating self-doubt and finding a drawing rhythm. He shared how his graphic novel blends structure into, didn't even know he was doing that, structure and intuition, sometimes using alcohol to beat creative blocks. Greg emphasized the importance of authenticity over commercial success, urging artists to embrace their unique style and dive into projects, underscoring the wonder of creating art, right? So, so it's on, he's self-done it, whatever, it's on. We'll have a look at later, get that link up later afterwards, right? And so let's go through this. Let's go through this dude's thing. Greg, hello.
While doing the artwork, it's pretty much non-stop doubt. Moments of like, oh, great. By the way, that is very fleeting and is there for a moment and maybe not there the next day. I've drawn things that I was really happy when I finished them, and I come back the next day and think, that is dog shit. What were you thinking? And then I've had the opposite, where I was doing something that I hated non-stop the whole time I was drawing it. And then I saw it a year later and thought, that's actually all right.
Hey guys, I recently had the chance to visit concept artist Greg Broadmoor at Weta Workshop in Wellington, New Zealand. If you're not familiar with him, Greg is known for doing a bunch of the concept design on District 9, Avatar, and King Kong. Here's a clip from District 9 showcasing a couple of the alien guns he designed. I sat down with him and reported him doing a page for an upcoming graphic novel he's written and illustrated, and talked to him about his process on creativity. Greg's an art machine and is insights were awesome. When I talk to people about artwork and making comics or illustrations, there's normally like a huge amount of self-doubt and a huge amount of like second guessing when it comes to image making. Do you have any thoughts on that, or like how do you just start? You know,
that's almost the number one problem when you're trying to draw. You're trying to fall into that place where you stop second guessing, the flow state, and that's almost the point of it in a way. What is like this? I think there's a couple aspects to the drawing. One, you're trying to present something, visualize something that's in your imagination or whatever, and show it to other people maybe. But then the other part is just the pure pleasure, or not even sure if it's pleasure, just that state of being in flow and not making front brain rational choices, just going with your intuition. I think that's a big part of what illustration is at all. And how do you get to it? That is the challenge, because as soon as, especially if you're trying to make something structured, this is a graphic novel, of course, these are comic pages, and I'm trying to tell a story. So I've got 100 things in my head. I've got what I've written down. I need to try and be faithful to the story. I need to try and include all these elements. I'm trying to be a cameraman and come up from the right angle and all this sort of stuff. But at the same time, I'm trying to get out of my own way and think about none of that, just be in the drawing. And those two things are in opposition. They're fighting each other. One's trying to wake you up, and one's trying to put you into a sleep. The part of it is just drawing. You just start. And even if it's not working, you just keep on doing it. And then eventually, before you even know it, hopefully you've fallen into that state. And the other way is alcohol.
And when it comes to drugs and alcohol, just say no.
I was telling you the other day that drinking a beer or two, that just like gets rid of inhibitions.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it all the time. Maybe it doesn't work for many people.
Sure.
But if I'm completely blocked, I'll literally just have a beer or two, and that wipes out my inhibitions, and I start making the first choice, and it so puts you automatically almost into a flow state. I think that's why people like alcohol. Yeah. When I've written the story, I write out every single panel, so I do know in advance what's going to happen. And when I'm writing it, I am visualizing it as well. But the weird thing is, while I'm writing it, I see each page and panel. I feel it. It's not not like a perfect vision. I can really feel what the story will look like. But by the time I draw it, honestly, it doesn't look anything like that. I'm pretty sure that the vision I had in my head when I was writing it is gone.
Yeah.
But that's fine. But yeah, it is very. When I'm writing it, I really know what I want to draw. You shouldn't let any preparation get in the way of art, because what's the risk? There's no risk. The only risk is maybe feeling shame at someone else looking at it, and I've definitely been through that. I've made whole comic books before when I was young, and I didn't show anyone, or maybe a very few friends. I totally get it, but that's the only real risk, and that's a silly risk, right? It's like, it's not real. So there's nothing really at stake. So you should just do it. You shouldn't. I think if you want to make a piece of art, no matter what it is, games, movies, drawings, music, you just start making it, and just accepting the fact that it'll be limited in its own by who you are at that time.
The hardest part as an artist, especially now with Instagram, it's very easy to compare yourself to how good or famous everyone is, or at least seems to be.
Yeah, I still get that. I've been doing this forever, and I still look on Instagram and go, holy shit, how did they do that? That's not possible. Yeah, well, you think in lots more layers. So there's what's happening in the story, but then there's what the lines in the drawing are doing and how they try and amplify the story. That's a classic comic book technique of trying to capture the energy, or like, and there's some of these pages at the start where I've got all these jagged rocks. The jagged rocks are actually all pointing. They're literally pointing to different things on the page.
Right.
And some of that is completely accidental. But then when I notice it, or I realize I've done it, then I amplify it, and then I start doing more of it. And so I think that's part of it. When if something amplifies the moment that you're trying to get across in a panel or in a drawing, if you notice that makes it even stronger, it's like, well, do more of that. That one there is that's the page I started. I don't think I drew this one today, but that is the page that precedes us, where the girls are being chased down by this massive Rex.
The story itself, or the whole comics, is a little not exactly what you would expect. It's bizarre and out there in a way that is interesting. Do you have any thoughts on like your decision to go with something like this versus something that is potentially more commercial? Or
because people say that to me all the time, it's that it's weird or unusual or to feel something, but that's not what it appears to me.
Yep.
Everything is entirely makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if rational is the right word, but it all has an total internal logic, and I don't think it's weird. I know from experience that other people will find it weird.
Yeah.
Just because when I do something that is very pure to me, that's quite often the reaction I've received. It's like, oh, that's weird. That's different. And I'm like, oh, is it? I didn't realize it was.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't try and make anything commercial in the sense that with art, and with this particular art, with making this comic book, I'm trying to discover something about myself and about the universe. And it's not just a means of expressing what I feel. I'm actually trying to make sense of things. If I'm really trying to do that, it's a bit like science. You just got to trust the data. And in this case, the data is the things that you feel. And I feel plenty of things. So there's like an endless well there, at least there is at the moment. And so I don't need an external thing telling me what it should be. And I know there are plenty of external factors that would say, if you did this, it would be more successful. But my reaction to that would be, but if I did that, it would be less true.
Yeah.
And it's not that something that's successful is not true, not at all. It's just that the thing that I've come up with, it is its own truth. And I wouldn't bend it to make it more palatable or make it more commercially successful or fit a certain demographic. I have done stuff like that before. I totally get that way of thinking. I mean, I've worked on some pretty big projects where I've had to like cut the edges off things. It all depends on money as well, right? This is at the end of the day, this is a graphic novel, comic book, and the only thing that's at risk is me, really. Yep. And so I don't have to worry about burning some millions of someone's dollars. And as soon as you're burning millions of someone's dollars, well, then you might need to start thinking about demographics, because you've got to pay all those millions of dollars back. But this is just my graft at the end of the day. There's some other people taking a risk with me, which is nice, but they trust that hopefully what I'm doing is worth, has worth.
Yeah.
So it's that I'm trying to trust my intuition. It's not even trusting your intuition. It's written it, and when I've drawn it, I feel that it's true, or it's as true as I can make it. And so I'm not trying to. It's up to the audience after that. So I know when I've finished it, me and the universe.
Right. So at this point, I have got all three. Except for this one here. Oh, missed a couple. So basically, I've got all three main key proponents. I mean, like patterns that I need to do, I should say, not proponents, but or is it the same thing? What do I know, right? So terminologies and all that. So once I've got all these three down, and I was able to do it, the pattern, it's kind of like where it needs to be, as you can see there. It's got my 5 stars, or 5 points, I should say, not stars, but it looks like a star, I guess. That's what my brain went to that, right? So one thing about this sort of art, it's very tactile, it's pretty hands-on. It's not like it's flexible. It's the most flexible thing, like clay, which is what I love about clay, and why that's what drew me to it. It's like painting. You can only push it so far. However, the form with clay is that you can do whatever you want with it, and then afterwards, you leave it. You can get really, really full on with the patterns and stuff, like with the glazes and stuff. And I've seen some amazing work like that. But I don't find that for me. I find I'm a person who loves color, and I'm a person who likes patterns. So for me, I like to merge the two together. Whereas I go, okay, here's the form, and now the forms is what matters to me. I've got the patterns the way I want to do it, and then afterwards, once it's in the kiln, it's out of your hand, right? It's like once it's printed, like the comic book. Once it's printed, it's out of your hand. It's out of the wild. You can bring it back in, and you can go, oh, I didn't do it right. But once people have it, it's you can't really do much about it. So for me, I love the real the hands-on thing about about clay, and which is what I enjoy doing it a lot. as much as well as like painting and stuff. I mean, but like I do, it's this sort of falls into my design sort of elements, right? Because I'm designing here as well with this, and I'm not just trying to create this fixed piece. And that's what I like about designing stuff from clay, is because it's not fixed structure to me, like the fixed patterns. I mean, this is probably the most what I would say methodic I'm not going to be able to methodical, whatever. Anyway, I'm not even try. So to pronounce it right. So what I was thinking is like, what I really mean by that is that it's structured points there, right? There's 3 of each. You got the 3 big ones, you got the 3 little ones on the other side, and you got 3 points, and everything's in 3s in here. So, once I get that sorted, now I'll have to go in to figure out, is that all I want to do, right? This is my main key structure. Or do I go a bit further? And I'm kind of thinking like, do I need to do any further here with this? Is this actually really necessary for me to do that, right? So let's, while I'm trying to think that process through my head, let's carry on watching this gentleman, Greg Broadmoor, carry on talking about the art problem with art. Number 1 problem with artists, right? Hey, there we go. Sorry, the blue wasn't going away.
It's a whole. Like, we're good. Like, I've done my best.
Yeah.
And then it's cool after that if other people want to read it and judge it in their own way, and that's fine. That's like a secondary thing. But in the making of the art, like, it is just what it is, and we're good. So yeah, there's no need to have some sort of external pressure on it to tilt it around. In fact, that would be counter to the whole pursuit.
I've heard the entire endeavor of art making described as more diary entries than commerce or any of that kind of stuff. And Rick Rubin was saying that you wouldn't judge somebody based off their diary entries, based off like whose diary entries are more relatable or more popular or whatever. Personal nature of it, I think, is where the real art comes in, and then the audience comes in almost as an accident. For Tolkien, for Lord of the Rings, I read that he started it because London or England really had no lore or mythology going back.
Yeah.
He
was making English mythology.
Well, he was doing that as more of an academic study or an academic project versus it being a fantasy novel. And I suspect that his audience or the people around him might have thought it was a very weird, bizarre thing for him to be doing.
Yeah, I don't know how he really thought of it. Yeah, I have heard that he thought it was was making a mythology, an alternate mythology for England, or a mythology for England, which is really interesting. That's quite meta. And I would wonder, who are you doing that for? I guess he's just doing it for himself.
Exactly.
As a study unto itself. The way it tends to work, right, when there's money involved, especially large chunks of money to make a film or a game or something like that, or any piece of art that just takes a lot of effort and multiple people and investment. The people who aren't really making it, who are putting in the money, justifiably want to know that it will make their money back, and so they want to go like, what worked before, right? And if you follow that, I don't have anything. That's a good way to make certain types of things. It's just not a great way to make anything that's
brand new
and exciting. And it's not even a good way to make something that's true. It's just a way of repeating what worked in the past. And those are things that were true in the past, but there's a diminishing returns aspect to that, right? If you make something that was true in the past, I mean, true in the sense that it emotionally resonated with people, you're just making an echo of that. And you can't really make a stronger echo than the thing you're copying. And it's just going to be an echo. And so the people that make really interesting things, Mad Max or Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, those are things that the artist was not making a literal echo. They might have been echoing really deep, fundamental things, but no one else saw that. They made something that just felt true to them.
Talk to people where it's like they're just trying to talk with the muse or something, and it's almost accidental, or they can't even explain or they don't even feel like the person who had created that thing that had come out.
That's falling into the flow state, isn't it? And there is something that's like a music. Anything you do art-wise, it's creative. If you really like it afterwards, or if you look back at it later on and really enjoy it, it's like you didn't do it. That's kind of a crazy thing. It does make you wonder where it came from. It does feel magical. I'm not a magical person. I probably talk like that a lot of the time. But I really love science. I love engineering. I'm fascinated by those kind of things. But there is something truly magical about you're participating in art and then witnessing it again later on and going like, where did that come from? I don't think that was me.
Yeah, right.
That's weird, man. That makes you think that the universe is much more cosmic than it is. Maybe it is. I have no idea.
Well, the fact that we can have
there. So I used to go through that. I used to have that same thinking pattern, right? Like about how the concept of like, where did this come from when I was creating way back when I was younger, right? About 30 odd years ago, around about, I guess I was about 94, 5, 6, around that. So about 30 years ago, really, so this is when I used to like go and have my own little zone thing. And I'd be sitting there and doing like friggin' large, and I mean large, like meter high clay pieces, ceramics, like huge bowls, and creating all this stuff. And, creating, what would you say? Like what's going on there? Oh, it's fine now. Not fine. Well, I think YouTube is not YouTube. Facebook is having a problem. I just noticed there was some error there. So for me, I was like, I think like, man, this is so cool. I felt like God, right? Because I was creating something, and I don't mean God in like higher power thing. Just I felt like I am creating this thing, and where is it coming from? And I was like, it's just your imagination. And I think sometimes if you let your imagination run wild, and I don't mean like just let it go and let it go. I feel like that you let it go for a bit, and then you bring it back, and you put a little bit of gate around it, and you go, okay, this is what I want, and this is what I want in my pattern. This is what talking about this. I remember like when we did the first, sitting down and talking with the art victim, and I was saying how like I hadn't thought, I was humming and hawing about what I wanted, and then when just before we went on air, he just said, hey, are you going to do it in your own pattern? I'm like, yeah, that's what I should do, right? And so I took his his thing, and I ran with that. And so then while we were talking for the 6 hours, ended up being 6 hours, just building this. That's all. While we're talking way about art and stuff, we were building this. So, but getting back to, the whole idea of like, outside of yourself, this sort of like this kind of like, creating something. And I think that's why in the past, this whole magical thing, element kind of thing that with art, that's why in the past, artists like became the shamans, right? They were the storytellers, they were the holders of the fort, right? They're the ones who, talk to the gods and so on, because they were like so-called touched by the gods, because they could come up with these things. And so you had like what we got right now in our modern day, right? Like a whole bunch of grifters who feel like they have what you need, and who they're the ones who should listen to if this is what you want, right? And I've always been of the mind that like, if you want, you should always listen to more than one person when it comes to whatever, right? Because that way, you're getting different viewpoints. Those viewpoints would meet in the middle, and you could then decide for yourself, okay, is this what I should be doing and stuff? Is this where it's going? I just realized one of my patterns here are off. Probably can see it's the one on the bottom here, because this one at the top is too close. So what are we going to do? Shall we leave it as a happy mistake, or shall we fix it? That's the question, right? That's what he was talking about earlier. Greg was saying, but is it a happy mistake, or shall I leave it, right? I mean, that's what I mean. Like, if you leave it, then it's a happy mistake, or if I fix it, then I'm like, but for me, I'm here. I'm at this early stages. I can fix it. I can't fix it later when it kind of looks weird, but now I can fix it, right? Just like that. That's what I love about clay. It's all at the right places now. There we go. Twisting my hand a bit, or my wrist. So yeah, I mean, what I find is that those people who get stuck on the whole, magic, I'm creating this amazing thing, they go into this arty-farty mode, and it's very easy to go into that. It's where people kind of feel like I am defined by my art, and those people, they're the ones who wear these hats, like they have this look so that you get it, right? And then when they're at home, they don't have that look. They just normal, in their element, just painting or doing whatever they're doing. But out there, they want to show off this, show you, not show off, but give you the perception of this artist, and they put on airs and stuff. But I think, I love that idea of where you can be in the zone, you can create something, and then you can walk back and go, that's pretty cool. Hopefully somebody likes it if you're trying to sell it, or you're happy with it because you're doing it for yourself, right? And not every art piece is for other people's consumption. It doesn't have, and you can make commercial art. It's okay to make commercial art. I think the idea is that people think that just because you do commercial art, it's not art. Just because somebody buys it and takes it away doesn't make your art anything less than another, creative, or doesn't, I need to fix that. It doesn't make, I just got a bit thick there. Can you see that? It's over there by the, that one there. So it's kind of like a bit of awkward compared to the rest. So yeah, I mean, I think, it's important to not make, to get away from that, from this holier than thou mentality that artists sometimes can put on. And that's why I say it's important to, to find people, to meet people, to learn from people who are like, I find that the more people that are laid back, the more artists that are laid back, the more, you'll learn from them, because they're not trying to hide behind some sort of airs. They're like really cool about what they do. They don't take themselves too seriously, because sometimes, especially when you're immature getting into something, they can actually leave a really bad mark on your life, because you're like, I can never get that. Look at how good that person is. I'll never reach that. And then you like, and as I was saying earlier on, like with with Instagram and stuff, you can see all these great artists and great works, and they can really put you off. And then when you go to ask them about this, and they go, oh, I do this and that. It's like, dude, what's your technique? Oh, I don't want to tell you that, because then you'll use that. And then I went, and it's like, dude, everybody's got their own style. They'll reach their goal the way they want in their time. This kind of reminds me of like Hulk Hogan, right? So there was a like just wrestling, right? So who doesn't know Hulk Hogan? So Hulk Hogan was like down in Mid-South, and this is before he got into WWE, or at that time was WWF. And what happened was that he had some skills, but he didn't have the look. So, and you can find those, right? There's a guy who actually copied off, right? Everything like this, like there's all that motions that he did, he actually copied off someone. So, he had idea and concept of what he could do. And somebody said to him, you need your own style, come up with your own style. So rather than come up with his own style, he just stole somebody else's, and that's why I have no respect for Hogan. And and I'm like, yeah, I don't have any respect for Hogan because of that as a wrestler. I'm like, you don't even come up with this shit, and you took somebody else's ideas and you made something major of it. And that guy there, now if that guy carries on with that, he looks like he copied Hogan, right? And that's the problem with like artists who like, try to be the next Jim Lee rather than being the next themselves, right? And I think, we're getting to a point now, like you can tell people who are, who are trying to like be like everybody else rather than coming up with their own style. And I'm all about your own style, because I think that way you will make a name for yourself. You won't be named, you won't make a name because you copied someone. Because we love people and who have their own style. It's something that's very unique to them, and that identifies their hard work and skill and years of coming to being a creative, coming to their place where, to their own stage in life where they're happy with that, with their skill, and now that's all they're going to do. And you go, oh no, is that all they can? No, they've spent years honing that skill, and so by the time they get there, when they're happy with it, then they can say, yeah, this is who and what my art style is based on now. This is what I'm happy with. Just need to get a little piece of clay here because I chipped off a bit too much around the round, because it's a bit dry, and I don't want to be too wet either. So if it's too wet, it'll get too soft and it'll move anyway. If it's too dry, it will chip some more. So it's got to find a happy medium, as they say, right? So let's go back to this is the number one problem for artists.
Similar experiences with art, and I'm from San Diego, and you're from halfway around the world, or
I could recognize his voice.
We're talking about this stuff. Like, of course, the muse, of course, the for any students or something listening to this, somebody that might feel like they're struggling with finding their own voice or starting a personal project.
There you go. Just talking about that.
Do you have any advice or thoughts on that? Or
well, as far as starting a project goes, it's easy. You just got to do it.
Yeah.
Just stop making excuses and do it. Yeah, it really is that simple.
Yeah.
And start, even if you don't know how, just start.
Yeah.
I would say that even for a lot of people, some people steer more academic and they do try and think about things more, and if that works for you, that's cool. Some people might spend their whole life learning and then just do it all and do something later on, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think a lot of people, that's a rare thing to happen. Most people are thinking that it's really hard, right, and that they won't be good enough, and therefore they'll invent excuses in their head not to start or to put it off. And the reality is, yeah, you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Right? You won't be good. It's not to everyone else. It's to you. You won't be good enough.
Yeah.
But you just have to suck that up and push past it anyway.
Right.
You just got to start. The more you do that, the more often you do that, the better you will get. And so, yeah, just do it. Finding their own truth. I don't know. That's just like a lifelong pursuit, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's just something you kind of got to keep on intuiting and working at, and throwing yourself at the problem that is the universe and seeing what comes back.
And often that problem has nothing to do with draftsmanship, or 0% of it is draftsmanship. Yeah. It's like, for you, I'm sure your music that you create plays into your art and your images somehow and stuff. And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Music is such a big thing. They're all part of the same thing, music and drawing. They're just different mechanically. Like music, drawing is like you fall into a flow state, which is nice, and that's the but really it's like this long-term pursuit, long time scale pursuit. You could be drawing for hours or days, whereas music is like the moment you play a note, the feeling that you were after, and even in drawing, the feeling that you're after happens immediately.
Right. So
music is so incredible. They seem similar, but that's a random thing. Drawing feels like this is a slight change of subject, I suppose.
Just since it's about to change subject, well, didn't know you asked, but anyway, perfect timing, right? So, like I mentioned, on our first part, I made my own tools because I need the tools I need to do the job. What the type of stuff I do especially with this. So, I used this very, very thin pointer screwdriver piece. I need to make a new handle for this so that I can, it's fatter. So I might actually find some wood or something, or even, some foam. So it's thicker, like at least this thick. So with that, so I've gone around with the pattern, as you can see here with the scratch, right? And then so with that scratch, I've also, gone deeper with it, about 2 mil deep, as you can see here. And then after that, I'm using my other tool that I made, and I'm going to go around it and dig around it so that this point here, now you can have like a bit of whatever they call it, like a relief, like a raised part. And then I'll go around and finally, do another pattern, and then I'll do the same. So all these patterns will basically be raised at one point. But then after that, I'll go in and do some more work to it. So yeah, that's why I made my own tools, because I knew that like if I start doing this sort of stuff, none of the commercial tools will do what I want, because they're not using, they're not for what I'm doing. So I made my own tools, right? Just using dried out felt pans, and then getting like tent pegs, or for this one it was gazebo pegs, hammering it, shaping it to the way I want it. So I can just pick it up and boom, I know exactly what tool I need the job for. So let's go back to watching Greg Broadmoor talk about his art.
But like drawing feels like an accident or a car wreck. The whole time I was telling you about the Evel Knievel, it feels like every time I started drawing and I've got a blank page, I do feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Right? I feel like I might as well be starting at 0. And then I kind of had to remind myself that, no, you've done this heaps. You should be able to do it. But anyway, so I start drawing, and actually while I'm drawing, since I've been drawing probably since I was 6, as students who start to move the pencil, it's like, this is okay. Okay, you know what you're doing. And I liken it to Evel Knievel, or someone doing a stunt jump over the Grand Canyon. As I'm doing the pencils, it's like I'm accelerating at the ramp, right? And suddenly like, oh, cool, this motorbike is picking up speed. We're going. The drawing is happening. And then at a certain point, as the drawing starts to crystallize, I've hit the ramp. And then you realize, oh fuck, does this drawing make any sense? Should I have done this? Now I'm starting to render it, right? Maybe I'm in Photoshop and I'm starting to color it. And all of a sudden I'm in the air. I'm across the canyon, and I realized, oh, you weren't going fast enough. You definitely weren't going fast enough. And holy fuck, the front wheel just fell off. And now you're pressing every lever, revving the engine that can't do anything, right? And just scrambling, and it feels like the bike is falling apart underneath you and everything's going wrong. I'm pretty sure that I need to land over there on that other ramp, but I don't fucking see how that's possible. And then finally, as the image comes together, it coalesces, some little details catch your eye, I start to finish the image, and that's me landing on the ramp. And I realize I survived. I did it. I made it to the other side. But just that's the feeling every time. Every single time I do a drawing. And that is 10% is the acceleration at the ramp, 10% is the landing, 80% in the middle is this feeling of existential, what the fuck are you doing? You were gonna die. Maybe not die literally, but like the feeling of like, this was a stupid decision. You cannot draw, you can't paint. What the fuck are you doing? And so you just have to go with it, because you're in the air and flying forward. Got to land it.
Quality of an artist, whether you want to call it that or not, is your ability to deal with those feelings. Because I know from experience, everyone has that same or similar sort of feelings. And I think often, again, draftsmanship or taking classes or studying can be a procrastination tool to going through and actually trying to create art. You know, and go through those feelings.
I've always liked personally just jumping in and doing it. That's probably why I like punk music. I love music from when I was a kid, and I watched Back to the Future, Marty McFly playing guitar. I was like, oh fuck, that looks like the best thing ever. I'd like to do that. And then when you finally get my hands on a guitar, it's like you can only make these modified noises. And you realize, oh fuck, you gotta learn. Like, well, it's complicated. But then I heard the Misfits, and I was with the Misfits. This is like 20 years later or 10 years later or whatever, and it sounds like the best noise ever. And then someone gave me a bass, and I realized I can play Misfits songs with these two notes that are like a semitone apart, or sorry, a full tone apart, just going backwards and forwards. And it's like, holy shit, I can play the Misfits. And the Misfits was no less amazing than fucking Beethoven to me. Right? They're just as incredible. And once you realize I can make that sound that feels like that's that punk rock spirit, which I love. And I try and I think they try and do that with all my art.
Yeah.
Of like, don't let your lack of talent get in the way of your ambition.
Sort of seems like everyone is just looking for that confidence to be able to create stuff. Took me around like the main Weta office this morning, and you and Richard were scrolling on a whiteboard for something. You would expect Richard at his scale of what he's operating to be, way more high level, but he's actually still executing on relatively small projects. And, it's that confidence to be like, okay, yes, I can do this. I can try this out. It doesn't matter if it's a small thing or a big thing. You're just applying your confidence and your creativity.
I think that's the story of Weta. That's if you speak to Richard, I mean, that's the ethos of how they made Lord of the Rings, and everything that led up to it was a number. Like in New Zealand, you call it number 8 wire, which is that you fix anything on the farm with a bit of number 8 wire. If your tractor starts leaking, grab some number 8 wire. It's the fencing wire that you use, and that's Weta's philosophy. That's Richard's attitude, and that's a very you don't just because you don't know how to do it. It's like
that's a very Kiwi thing, right? I mentioned this before on here about the number 8 wire mentality, about how like my dad and we built our own chicken fence, right? Like a fenced off cage, whatever you want to call it. But we call it chili fence, right? So you took all scraps of wood and bought secondhand stuff, like damaged, bits and pieces or somebody else's offcut timber. You cut down branches and stuff like that, just to make it work. And the reason why we have the number 8 wire mentality is because of the pioneers, right? When you're living in an island that's thousands of miles away by boat, away from where you came from, basically talking about Britain, right? Europe, Denmark, all those other places, and you're here in the middle of the ocean, and it might be months before you get a ship arrive with what you need. You just have to basically find around you, from a network with people to find what you can find to build what you need to build. Otherwise, you're stuffed, right? And that's where the number 8 wire comes from, but you being able to basically manage what you have, and you have to think outside the box, right? As they always say, right, of how to get what you need with the little that you have. And that's why I think that's why as Kiwis, we've gone so far in the world because of that mentality. How do we do those if we don't have what we'd have, access to some stuff? Well, you have to go and find someone. You have to learn from someone. You have to figure out something. And so you'll find that Kiwis tend to get together more often, rely on each other more often, work at, finding, how, using way, offcuts and stuff like that to make amazing stuff. Like Bert Monroe, right, with the world's fastest Indian. He took a motorbike and made it into one of the fastest in the world. Nobody had done it that way, and so, and like I said, that number 8 wire mentality, Kiwis have that, and my dad put that into my head, here, when, as a kid. And so I think that's something we should, as Kiwis, appreciate and value, that we have that number 8 wire mentality have to us. And of course, that's the same around, everywhere else, but they have their own, they have their own similar sort of ideas about that. But I think for us, because we're not like this huge country, and we're a small country, that over the years, that has really put us on the mark of the, go get them attitude. We can do it, because that, we'll find a way, right? If something needs to be done, we'll find a way to do it. And cheap, and people might freak out on how we do it, but, and how did it all come apart, but I mean, together, but I mean, we'll be able to, we got it done. And I think that's something of great value to us as Kiwis. So let's carry on with Greg.
Well, if you apply yourself, and then have a really high standard, and then don't stop, you know, you will solve it. At least that's, or maybe you won't solve it. That's the only chance you'll have solving it.
Yeah. Whether you're a really experienced industry veteran with all the skills in the world or a complete beginner, a lot of the process or act of drawing is the same, where you're, you know, fiddling around, you're starting with a blank page and all that kind of stuff. And the only thing that changes slightly is, you know, your confidence, you know, and your proven track record and stuff.
I think while doing the art, while drawing, I don't feel that much confidence.
Yeah.
I feel confidence after the fact from having done it many, many times. And that's nice when I go home to, you know, to see my family.
Yeah.
I know, good work. You applied yourself and you did it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even know actually if I look back on the art I did today and be really happy with it. I just know that, like, good work. You applied yourself. You made yourself do it. So that's nice. But the confidence is more like a feeling pride that you applied yourself and you were diligent about it. But while doing the artwork, it's pretty much non-stop doubt. Moments of like, oh, great. You know, there's moments of like, maybe not confidence, moments of like, this, fuck yeah, that's good. You know, but then again, by the way, that is very fleeting.
Yeah.
And is there for a moment and maybe not there the next day. I've drawn things that I was really happy when I finished them, and I come back the next day and think, that is dog shit. What were you thinking? And then I've had the opposite, where I was doing something that I hated non-stop the whole time I was drawing it. And then I saw it a year later and thought, that's actually all right.
I did that. What the hell?
Or other people have told me they love a certain thing. I'm like, really? That's something I agonized over, and I like carved at that piece, trying to make it work. And then in the end, I was just like, oh, fuck it, it's done.
Yeah.
But I don't like it, but it's done at least.
Right.
And then someone else tells me that they like it.
You know, it is that battle. It is that constant, like, you know, I'm sure that ethos or that story played out from like panel to panel, you know, like, oh, I like this panel, I don't like this panel. Yeah. And it's going to flip flop back and forth until whatever the thing is, you know, whenever it's finished. Yeah. Again, I think one of the most common things I see in students is not a lack of technical skill or anything. It's more of a questioning of if what they're doing is worth it or not.
Yeah. It has to be worth it unto itself. I think if you go into it thinking it is a career, that's cool. And everyone needs to make money, right?
Yeah.
We need to feed ourselves, and you know, you've got to give value back to the rest of the world. That's all cool, but
hey guys,
the pursuit has to be satisfying, enjoyable.
So this is Greg Broadmoor, who's
you know, he's a brutal reality for some
he's
people.
a guy at Weta Workshop who's just done his own. There we go, Greg Broadmoor. He's just put out a graphic novel, and that's what he's drawing here. But he's also a concept artist he worked on District 9 and Avatar. So he's, you know, works out down at Weta Workshop here in Wellington, New Zealand. So we're just going the last, you know, 5 minutes of this. I've got the link here in the chat. You can check it out later. It's quite interesting. You know, and the title of it, this is the #1 problem for artists. And the person who's putting this out is, of course, sounds like a teacher. He's from San Francisco. I noticed straight away he's not a Kiwi because of his accent, right? So there's Christian Lee. He's a teacher, and I'm not sure if he's here in New Zealand, teacher in Wellington, or if he's just here visiting to check out this place, you know, check out Weta Workshop and found Greg. So whatever the case, we'll, you know, hopefully we'll learn something from this. So let's carry on with this.
I don't want this to be demotivating, but here we go. Some people may be thinking only of it as a career, and therefore worried that, like, will AI replace me or whatever, or will someone better come along? You're not necessarily doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
You know, the right reason is because you love the thing. Now that's easier said than done. You can make yourself love the thing, and you have to. It's just like, I don't know how you do it. I wish I knew how you do it, but it can happen.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like not your choice, you know. And I would say that, like, people love cookies, you know, and it's like I would say people love art in the same way. It's like there's something in your brain that just goes, you know, like we were talking about NC Wyeth and stuff, and how you almost had like a religious experience with NC Wyeth stuff.
So this is a thing about let's recently come up about you know, people who do and people who get people to do, right? And there's a difference in that. There's like, and this is what I've talked about recently, how, you know, there are people who come up with an idea and go, hey, this is my character, and they'll give it to somebody else to write, but they want you to know they did it. That's fine, but that's commercial, right? That's basically a commercial piece of work. But when you're an artist, that's why we call creatives, right? Creatives, people who create. There's no other reason why you'd be called a creative unless you're creating. And so whatever it is you're creating, especially when it comes to art, you're called creatives, right? Because, you know, the art of creating art, the act of creating art, right? And so, you know, but this is why there's a huge failure in the movie industry, especially out of the US, right, with Hollywood, because now it's not the creative who's creating these movies or coming with the idea. It's executive producer, the production guy, the guy with the money, right? The guy who's got the money is going, okay, I want this made. And so they'll go and hire somebody, and that guy goes, oh, you know, it's very easy right now to get ChatGPT to write you a film script. I've tried it, right? I took my own concept, put a short story in there, and then boom, 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 right? Put it through 5 times, and I was like, I looked at it and I'm like, this reads like every other Hollywood movie. And then I thought, that's not what I want for what I'm doing. That's not creating. That's just being a producer. And I'm not a producer. I'm a creative. And there's a very big difference between that. And I think a lot of people get confused about what that is. And so when you're creating art, there's so much heart and soul that goes into it. It takes away the producer part of it, executive producer part of it, right? The concept person, right? It actually comes to you being the creator. It's your thing. And so you want it to look like what you want it to look like. You want it to read like what you want it to read like. You want the characters to look a certain way because it's your character. You're indebted, you know, I can't remember the right words, but like you're involved in it. It's your baby. It's your heart and soul. You're raising that thing, right? Whereas the executive producer just goes, yeah, I want that. Doesn't care if it's got anything in there that's of value or not. They just want the commercial thing. Is it sellable? Yeah, okay, go. And that's why I think that's why, there is this thing about why people are going on about AI and stuff and how it's not very human, because it's just it's a production, right? But taking from humans and becoming a production. It's like, it's like the executive producer basically taking away from the humans and basically just going, have no heart and soul in it. We'll just take the concept and let's chuck it through. And the reason I say that this AIs are doing this, ChatGPT is doing this and being used for that, because someone who's high up as a thing is saying, in the film industry in Hollywood, saying, yeah, there'd be people high up are doing that. And that's why I think that's when movies started dying in Hollywood, especially quality-wise, is when executive producers got their name on there first, right? Executive produced by, from the guy who brought you, the producer who brought you, directors. You need directors. A director has to come up with an idea, the writer. They go, this is a movie based on Stephen King's book, right? The horror, whatever it, right? So the bones of it's there. You know who's the artist, who's the writer. He spent years. You look at Stephen King's story. I think it was like about 50 failures, right? Or 20 something failures before, like 20 different publishers wouldn't take it. You even look at J.K. Rowling, right? Joanne, right? And so somebody picked out of the rubbish bin, the receptionist or some assistant, and so people who are producers, they don't understand what's value until you have somebody out there reading it and going, wow, this is pretty cool, man, and because they're just there by the numbers. And imagine if that book had stayed in the rubbish bin. Just imagine that idea. That producer, who's a publisher, left that in the rubbish bin. That's why I kind of like do not like what's happening in Marvel comics and mainstream and all that.
And you
Hollywood
almost
now,
had no.
because all the good work is left in the rubbish bin. on the shelf. Like I even like, you know, when I was looking this week, I was walking past all the books, at the hospice, secondhand books and stuff. So Salvation Army, right? Secondhand shop, thrift shop, right? They call it. And I pick up whatever I'll pick up. I'm trying to complete. Then my next lot I got to complete is the Harry Potter series. I've just completed my George R.R. Martin book series, right? The Game of Thrones series, Fire and Ice. I've completed my game. I got handed, right? What was it called? The Watchtower series by Stephen King, right? Because the person who owned it was a family friend, and he passed away. So his wife basically said, "Ari, do you want this? He's got all these Stephen King books. Do you want them?" I go, "Yeah." At least that I have something to remember him by, but I also love the Watchtower series, right? It's pretty cool. I got to read, I think I finished all of it. Yeah. And I started reading that stuff maybe about late 89, right? And so 2 years ago, when he passed away, I was able to read the last 200 pages or something of it and finish that whole series. That's like freaking 30 years, right? So now I've got to get the Harry Potter series, and I've got to get the Harry Potter DVD series. But like I said, like imagine that publisher had thrown it out and it wasn't a rubbish bin had thrown it out, it's in the rubbish bin, and before that receptionist or assistant got to it, right, the janitor came and took it away, or the cleaners came and checked it out. We would have lost. Maybe she would still fight hard to, try again to go to some. What if she just decided and this is what we're talking about here with Greg, right? What if she got disappointed in herself, saying that, well, nobody wants this book, and why should I bother writing anymore? That's the heart and soul that you just put into that book, and nobody wants it anymore, right? And you just think about that, and that's why I think sometimes, crowdfunding is the greatest thing in the world. And anybody who poo-poos or puts down crowdfunding, they deserve to be pushed out of that whole, out of the industry. To be honest, that's what I think. It's like the worst thing, because crowdfunding allows you to be Joanne, J.K. Rowling, bypassing the publisher and getting straight to the customer, because there's no gatekeeping there. I know that there's certain gatekeeping that happens at Kickstarter, and now it's happening at Indiegogo, but still, you can yourself produce a book and get it onto digital, right? You can release it that way. And I think, and that is the truest way I can say my stance on crowdfunding, why I love it so much. It's allowing someone like me who, has tried for years, try to do this, and then now being able to do it and building building a support base of friends and people who are also into this, creatives who are into this, right, from around the world to work with and think. Because to be honest, without crowdfunding, I don't think I could have any work done, right? Because I'm not a great artist when it comes to illustration. And so I think, and the other thing here is, right, this also allows us to help other people, right, who work with us as artists from around the world, right? And I think because unless you're an artist, writer yourself, you do not have a chance to create comic books. Let me just do a plug for an IOB while I'm on this, right? So I have a friend who's let me see how long we've got before he finishes. So right now, right, he's got a comic book which has got 9 hours. It finishes today, right? So he was trying, he wanted to meet his goal, right? It was $9,000 New Zealand, right? Just over $9,000. So Canadian, look at that. People are actually buying it right now, which is really cool watching that number go. So 7.5K, right, is what he wanted, right? And so it's now 16K, right? 16.9. That's pretty cool, man. I think that is so cool, because that means now that he can actually have money, right, in his pocket for the next book. Because to make the next book, right? Get next artist to get on. And this is the other thing, right? Like I said about artists, that you with this, you're able to pay people and get other artists to work with you. I'm having issues with that right now, right? Commercial part of that, like the financial side of that. But like, I think not only is he huge, he's just creating that one book. He's got other people who do the artwork on the cover side of things, like fan art, even like one of my friends, new friends, right, that I met through Larry here with being on his panel on his excuse me. On his on his podcast and stuff here on YouTube, right? So you got other people doing artwork, right? Is this Art Victim? Yeah, it is Art Victim. So like, you had Art Victim doing a piece for him, and Art is now doing a cover for me, like not cover, like he's doing a poster or something, and it's just great because this way he gets his work shown. Next time I'll be able to afford him, or maybe, and that's the whole point. It's like, we're able to, with this, it's not just me and the artist or the colorist, it's other people, right, that will be able to benefit because of cover art, by other stuff, and I think that's what we need to understand. That's why I do not like people rubbishing, crowdfunding, and I do not also like, the kind of like people using it and not fulfilling goals. I think that's one of the sad things, and I'm struggling with that right now myself, right, because I don't have, it's got printed elsewhere, and so next thing I'm having to rethink, like, how do I print locally in New Zealand, and will people pay the premium price it will cost to get to them? Because here, if I'm printing it here, it is going to cost a lot more than if I'm doing it overseas, right? But then I'll have more control, right? Then I can just walk up to my printer and go, when's the date will I have it, right? And so, but that's what I mean, like now, and that's the other side of that. Now the printer and his workers are able to get money from that. So this whole revenue, I put the link in the chat for Larry's comic, right? So, I think it's such a people like who put it down don't understand how far the reach of just one person doing crowdfunding goes financially for a whole lot of people, right? And because that person or those people are only in it for themselves, they don't understand how it benefits people outside of America. It's this freaking small-mindedness that I see some people have, that they think it's only affects them, their country, when they talk like this. No, it affects people in Africa, in Italy, in South America, in Brazil, in Canada, in Germany, Indonesia, Singapore, New Zealand, Fiji, right? All these other places. Just by having crowdfunding, it allows so many people to get a leg up, right? Not a handout, but a hand up. Because then we can create amazing stuff. And from that amazing stuff, we can continue creating, and more people will benefit from it, right? And I think that's why I just find people who, I'm just so pissed off at this one person right now, right? Because he's just a moron. I can't believe that someone could speak like that about this thing. And because it's just selfish ignorance. And I think it's sad. And I just want him to not fail 100% at his endeavors. I've never felt like that for anybody. But, but I felt like this guy should fail. I'm keep hitting the wrong one. Let me get back to the video. Here we go. Back to Greg Broadmoor, concept artist for Weta. He worked on Avatar and District 9. I love District 9. Thought it was really cool. That's okay.
Whether or not that was going to be a religious experience or not, it just took you and grabbed you in a way that was completely out of your control.
Yeah, I knew I loved his art from the images I'd seen, from the prints and books and so on.
Yeah.
But seeing it in person, it's like that just was like a revelation.
Right.
It felt holy in a weird way. The closest I've ever got to that is someone who's not religious at all. How do you enjoy the work for itself?
And you almost, I would say that like people love cookies, you know, and it's like I would say people love art in the same way. It's like there's something in your brain that just goes, you know, like we were talking about NC Wyeth and stuff, and how you almost had like a religious experience with NC Wyeth stuff, and you almost had no say over whether or not that was going to be a religious experience or not. It just took you and grabbed you in a way that was completely out of your control.
Yeah, I knew I loved his art from the images I'd seen, from the prints and books and so on.
Yeah.
But seeing it in person, it's like that just was like a revelation.
Right.
It felt holy in a weird way. The closest I've ever got to that is someone who's not religious at all. How do you enjoy the work for itself? Because it has to be that. You have to enjoy the work. I think you have to also accept that sometimes it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Right. Which is a sucky idea. But then at that moment, you might need to, if it really can't happen, you might need to go and do something else, at least for a while. It really is work. You've got to work through it. You've got to think that this must be, if it really does call to you inside and feel like it, you know, it should be worth it, and it is just work. You've got to grind at it. Think of the musician Josh Homme from Caius and Queens of the Stone Age. What work ethic? If you're just going to turn up, because you've got to make yourself available. That's the muse thing again, right? You've got to, the muse is just waiting. The magic is waiting to happen.
Yeah.
But if you don't make yourself available for it, it won't come.
Yeah.
And that's it. So you got to make a decision. Am I doing this because I love it? And even if you're not enjoying it in that moment, you just apply yourself anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and put it out there as well. I think that sharpens you. Like most, you know, if I was being super pure about it, I would say, like I said, when I finish my book, me and the universe are even. If no one ever saw it, that would suck. But I could deal with it because I got the value out of it.
Yeah.
You know, I would live with it. So you've got to have that. If you can make that happen, that you and the work like are good, that you tried and you made something of your effort.
Yeah.
Then I think you'll be fine, right?
Yeah.
And then, but on the other side of that, showing it to other people is how you end up getting paid. It's how you feed yourself.
Yeah.
But it has this other thing of competition is good. Competition is great. You know, like it will make you work even harder.
Right.
Not necessarily trying to beat other people, because what does that even mean in the world of art? But it's trying to not feel inadequate. I don't know. Trying to make the work inspire other people.
Yeah.
It is a good thing, that competition. So yeah, you got to try and show it to other people if you possibly can. It's hard.
Yeah.
I think even probably part of why I don't show my work when I'm working on it to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Is I want it to be very pure.
Yeah, it's tough. Well, and, you know, it seems like your ability to cope with risk and not lose your identity when you when you have the successes, it's very easy to create art, but when you're not having successes, it's very difficult to create art. I think it's trying to deal with the two imposters, the one where you feel like you're a complete piece of garbage and should stop drawing, or the one where you feel like you're the best artist in the world, you know. And you like, everyone exists somewhere in the middle, and I think
well, they go backwards and forwards between those.
I'm more that.
Yeah, I think I am too, actually, a lot.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, no matter who you are, you're going to experience a huge amount of failure, you know, and no matter how big the projects you've done before or after or whatever, and your ability to open yourself up to the muse and that potential, that's the thing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was just saying about earlier about failure, right? With Stephen King and with J.K. Rowling, right? And sure, there's probably more. Like nobody's actually stepped out of the what we call like the stable, right? Out of the gate, you know, and like on the farm, right? Because we're agricultural community, we use like a lot of terms like to do with like you know, with farming and stuff. So, you know, the moment you step out the gate, you know, you're not going to like find success straight away. I mean, like, and not even if you've been there for a couple of years, right? It takes time, it takes hard work, and you know, and you're not going to like suddenly everybody's going to love your art straight away, and now you're getting offered all this stuff, because that can itself also be dangerous, because then you're like, oh, I've arrived, I don't have to do anything else. And I don't mean dangerous in the sense of that. I mean, like, then you're like, you can go into mediocrity. You know, you kind of get like a big head about things, and next thing you know, because you've got into that mode, you're not challenging yourself, you're not doing anything new, you're just writing the same old, you know. And I find that's where, like, you know, the mainstream's at right now, is that they're doing the same old, so they're not actually trying anything else. They seem to be safe, you know, they don't take any more chances. And that's and the only chances they do take is, you know, trying to race swap everything or gender swap everything. That's the only chance they take. They don't take any chances in storytelling or telling anything new, right? And there's like, I was saying to like Jason, I said, like, there's hundreds of thousands of books on these shelves. I'm like, you know, around the world. I just looked at the bookshelf of somewhere earlier, right, at the hospice. And like, there's so many stories there that they could turn into movies, right? Yet they go back to the same well. And you know what happens when you go back to the same well creatively? That well gets dry and you hit mud. Because I've basically been inside a well, digging a well when I was a child, you know, because you get, our well had been plugged up, like one of the holes had plugged itself up. And this is in Fiji. This is like in the 80s, right? This is about 83, 84. And granddad and my uncle put me down on a rope, you know, probably, shit, must have been like maybe about 10 meters deep. And I'm, you know, at the bottom, it's like maybe about 2 meters wide. And my feet's touching dirt. I'm like mud and rocks. Imagine, you know, talk about if I was claustrophobic, for sure, that would have freaked the hell out of me. And then you just, you know, and I'm just seeing there's a little hole and there's a little dribbly thing. And I go, no, you know, uncle, you know, I can see the water, but it's not working, man. You know, so that's what it's like. It's like your creative thing. Like, you know, if you keep going back to the well, and people after a while see that you're doing that and they don't want that anymore. And that's like me, right? I see that with the mainstream comics, and that's why I've said I don't want that anymore. The only thing that kept me going was that little dribble of water coming through the little thing in the well, which was variant cover art. That was it. And even that finally went like, why am I wasting money, right, on just that? If I want variant cover arts, I'll just go to indie creatives. At least that way I know I'll get a good story as well as the variant cover arts, right? So yeah, and I think, you know, it's very, you know, you gotta be. I put a thing out this week, right, about being innovative on Facebook. I said you can copy people, you can copy what people are doing. It will only last for so long. When people will realize that you're just copying, right? Because after a while, people will see you for who you are, and if you're not doing anything, you know, they'll buy your book for a little bit, right? Let's talk about comics, right? They'll buy your stuff for a little bit, but the mediocrity will set in after a while, right? Hollywood has this idea, and like the mainstream has this idea, where just because we have the audience now, we'll always have the audience, no matter what. And there is a percentage. There will always be a percentage who will buy whatever Marvel or DC produce, no matter what it is. They'll just buy it. It might have been the trashiest trash, as long as it's got like a Spider-Man name on it, you know, or like, you know, or Batman on it. They'll buy it. Doesn't matter. They'll buy it. But the other people who actually will buy more than that just one book, they've walked away. And over time, they'll walk away. And those are the people that I want to come buy my comic books, right? To buy Larry's book, right? I think Larry's books are great. As well as all the other people, you know, I look at people's work and I go, wow, this is cool. And you know, those are the guys that I want to promote. Those are the guys I want to have on and interview and talk to about how they got to where they got to. I don't want to find someone who just started creating yesterday and now thinks that they know what they're doing, because there is no experience to talk to that person about. I want to talk to someone who's actually been doing it for a while, who's struggled, who've learned how to, you know, like this gentleman here, right, who's learned how to hone their craft, how to, and I think I've got one of Greg's work. I just realized the dinosaur there, right? So I've got him on like on a cover piece for one of for a few years back. because he's quite detailed in his work, as you can see. He's a penciler. He kind of reminds me of my artist on Zoolandia, right? But yeah, and I think so. You know, it's important to hone your craft, work at it, get through that negative thing, because once you get through that negative hurdle block about how you're not good enough or something, you'll find that it's so much easier when you have the skill, when you've honed your skill, that you can get past that easier and easier. Like I said, with me, I just move on from one to the other because I work on different projects all the time. I'll go, oh yeah, I feel like I should go and work on that. Cool, I feel fresh. You know, work on that. Last night, the last 2 days, I just spent not doing anything like anything to do with comics. Built this, right? 2 of them. There's another one there, but I don't want to lean forward because I'm going to hurt my back. That's why I'm kind of like being very minimal in my movement, because yeah, back's a bit sore, spine, lower back here. So, you know, now I'm doing this, and then when I finish this today, and then I'll go, you know, whatever I need to do, then I'll go back and work on the coloring side. You know, and all the while I'm doing the coloring side, my head's thinking about the stories about what I'm working on. Like the other day, I was thinking like, oh yeah, this is what would be cool in Howler, right? Even though I'm not writing Howler right now because Howler issue 1 is already being illustrated, so I don't have to worry about that. But I'm thinking about the issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, right? And so on, because there's about 9 issues in that, you know. And so you know, because I know the structure of things, of how the story is, I know where I'm going to take it. So you know, you have to learn something before you can, you know, learn the rules of the thing before you can try something different. And that's what I like about the fact that, like, anyone who's been on you know, doing IF or whatever they're doing, whatever they've decided to do for a little while, they've known the rules, and so then they can be innovative with that. You can't be innovative right from out the gate.
I think lets projects get finished more so than anything. You know, kind of stepping outside yourself.
As far as online, probably the Instagram. I think it's Greg_Broadmoor. I don't even know. I'm bad at social media. Yeah. That's probably the thing. I don't have much on social media to be on the internet. I used to do a blog years ago, but I haven't touched it in years and years. Never done an art station or anything like that. But yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. That would be nice.
Yeah, cool. Very sick.
You can put it up there.
Yeah. Cool. Pause it there.
You can check him out. Check out his work, and you know, like I mentioned, there's like, actually I might grab it just so you can see what it looks like in full color. Give me 1 second. Don't want to get any of this clay dust on the actual my graphic novel. Where are you? Where's my Kiwi section? I've got this huge display unit that's on wheels, so it can, you know, in my graphic novel area, in my, you know, DVD gaming closet here. Where is it? There it is. Is it that one? No, is it that one? Fraction. Yeah. So there you go. All right. So that's that's his work there. Go down there a bit because you don't want to see my crotch area. So yeah, that's Greg's work. That's his full color. You know, this is from like about 10 odd years ago, I think. What year was this? The future. Yeah. Where is it? 12 years ago. 2012. Yeah, it was quite cool. This book is, you know, it's legendary. It's like the one and only, if I remember right. But yeah, there was some great work in this. I'm glad I bought it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a copy of it, because it's, you know, to show you at this point, right? This is why I collect New Zealand art, so that I can, like, go, there it is. And you know, because not only that, but you also support support fellow creators and publishers. So I wish that there was another one done, but like Funtime Comics is doing a lot now with that. And also we had Gary Della, great Gary Della, yeah, Gary Della from I forgot his name now. He was yeah, no, I'm totally blanked. Sorry about that, guys. So over from Aussie, right? So we did an interview with him. Actually, should just look up the interview, right? Let me just go to the homepage here for a minute, and I'll be able to find out. And I'll give you a link to him. And he does an anthology series, which this is why I'm mentioning that I actually have going to be putting like a 10-page or 12-page short story called Behemoth comic book for be black and white, because I haven't colored or anything like this, and it's something that we put out as part of our Sunspot magazine. But there, I found like more pages for that I paid for, so I have that, that's mine. And so I was able to put it out in our magazine that I put together. So I published, one of my writer friends, journalist friends, actually did the interviews and stuff for that. But I designed the book. All 64 pages. I designed how each page looked, how it was arranged, and everything. So I'll give you a link to that in a minute. So and that's on sale right now. So 64 pages. You can go grab it and be able to check it out. It's for $2, I think, digital. It's pretty cheap, I reckon. So 64 pages for $2. Here it is. So I'll put that in there, and then I'll also show you guys that while I'm talking about while I'm finding Greg's here we go. So amazing stuff in here, man. Like, there's also, you get to see Shane's art. I keep showing Shane's artwork, and he's also got a comic book out. I hope this is the thing. Number 3 is on its way out of this. Look at that. Character, that's when he did the artwork there. Now he's turned the character into a comic book, right? And so, and this is like the page for, and I have that as well, from SN, this big, huge historical comic, best in comics. One day, I hope when there's volume 2, he will feature me in it, because, that's what goals are, right? You should set yourself goals. There's also, other artwork from other artists. I'm one of the points. I think I must reset my mouse. Bought a new mouse this week for cheap as, but it keeps turning itself off after 5 minutes or something if you're not touching it, right? I don't know how to fix that. I had a look online and think it, so I'm gone back to my old one. And so what I mean, like, it's like jumps about, rather than jumping 1, it's jumping like 3 or 4. So because I was playing around with it. So the great thing, is that it allowed it, like, this is also a short story called Robo Heart with, designed by Shane again, right? So he did a short story like that, that's in a complete short story, right? And this is the, what's available there, the contents and stuff. This is that story there, the job, short story. So there's full color. It's a full color comic book in magazine, but also, some black and white stuff as well, depending on, what the story is. And this is like the first time my character was featured. But we've changed his design. The demon isn't changed. The placenta isn't changed. The demon lord, but we've changed Templeton, this character here. His skin color is kind of a bit darker, I realized, but it's the same. He's brown skin color. And I know it's not based on me, by the way. I should say that. I just did this character, and that was that. But Templeton, he looks very different here. Like in the new look, it's totally different. I actually put something out about that today on our YouTube. But let me just show you that while we're just talking about that. So, I mean, on our community thing. So if you're, if this is your first time here and, don't know about much what we do, it's basically about promoting and networking with other creatives. That's the only thing I can think of. Mainly what we do is indie comics. Huge, promoter of indie comics. I talk to writers, publishers, artists, and so on, right? Because that's what I love, right? So why not talk to people who are similar-minded, or same thing, creatives, right? So this is what I put out about the Templeton character, what he looks like. So I can just show you guys that quickly, the new iteration, right? And then we'll move on and give you the Greg Della thing. So this is, is there a better picture? Hold on, that's just showed me that's not the right picture for that. So let me find I think it's on our publisher, on our publishing page, not publishing, a studio page, I should say. So let me go grab that, and then you get to see the new sort of look of him right now, like the updated version, which I changed like about 4 years ago, 2 years ago, because he looked too like stop bouncing around. He looked too normal, if I can say that, if I can use that word. He looked very, he didn't look like anything that would stand out, is what I mean. So this is it here. So this is a new Templeton look. Where are you? There it is. So this is what Templeton looks like now. Right? Long hair, black coat, long. He's got this middle thing here, like which holds his gun and stuff. And he's got this waistcoat, zip down thing, and and so this placenta, like I said, it stays the same. It just looks a bit, this is actually coming out in probably August this year. Yeah, it's the next book that's coming out right now. It's being inked. So all the pages have been finished for the first issue, and this is the variant cover for it. So this is the one that I've actually colored and finished coloring the cover. That's why I'm showing this one. Well, this is the variant cover for that, and this is where Sangyum gets shown, and you get to see her for the first time. What she's like, and yeah, it's so you can see like it's the only thing that hasn't changed is the skin color, because I want to give something. It was kind of like I didn't even know why I chose the skin color. To be honest, I don't. I think because I wanted to be like a Pacific Islander or something, and he's not Indian. I know that much. So yeah, but I like it's basically a story about a soul collector, right? He's working for Hell, and so as you can see, he's coming in October. I'm sorry, later, probably might end of October. I don't know, because it'll take place after we finish Robot Nation, I think, because we've got 3 other books being worked on right now. So if it all depends on how quickly the coloring and inking goes, which gets out first, right? So hopefully you guys can check that out. But yeah, I need to find this one. I'm going to show you this. Where is this list? Why have I not seen the list there? Oh, there it is. So let's go back to the Greg Della interview where I was talking about, so we know about his anthology series that's coming out of Australia. And it should be in my list here somewhere. Greg Della. There we go. Reverie Publications. Right. So this, Reverie Publications, Australia. Right. Now, if I remember right, yeah. So you got like their channel, and they're promoting their channel right now. They haven't been doing it for a while. This is new. They've been setting it up and stuff like that. and I know that he's he's basically now he's really pushing that, because a lot of undo that. Oh gosh, it's going to get you guys the link. So here's the link for that. But also, actually, probably if you had the link for the interview, then you get everything, right? So I'll give you the link for the interview in the chat. Here we go. So and plus you can find out more about how you, if you're a creator, if you're an artist or letterer or whatever, can get involved with that, right? Yeah. What did we do here? So yeah, they got some pretty cool stuff coming. I was quite impressed with this, and kind of made me want to think about, doing my own teaser for, doing something like that for my own teaser for Robot Nation. So that's why it's taking a bit more time, with what we're doing with Robot Nation, because more people are getting involved, more artists are giving, just this past week or something, one of my friends, web online friend, right, internet friend, who's becoming, very close, as communication wise, as we get to know each other. He actually said, "Hey, look, I want to do some fan art for you. Is that okay?" Okay, yeah. So he's done that, and he's working on that now, and so I'm quite pleased to have people. The more people getting involved, the bigger the project gets. But also that means I got to add more pages to the book, right? So here's a cover that I'm actually coloring right now for Robot Nation, right? And I'm working on the flats here. I've still got to do these two. I just decide to take a break from that and then come and do this. And then when I go back, I'll be doing the like there's 3 tones that I'm working on. And then I'll go on and 3 colors, right? Color flats, and then tones. I'll work on that. So it's 3 different types. So you can see here, with this, you got like 3 different shades. Sometimes that like here with the blues and same thing with here with the lady. I think I need to I'm not completely happy with this at the moment. I think I might do some light grays, but I don't want grays because the floor is gray, so I might have to go in there and maybe make the floor white, don't know, or maybe brick colors, something like that, because if I'm going to use gray, I don't want it to be too close to this color. So this is and here's the thing. So when I got this sent to me, it was just black and white, right, inks. So I said, oh, I'll color it in, because otherwise I would get somebody else, and they'll have their way. But this one I got to decide how I want it to look. And so there is this one, and then you've got other, like I mentioned before, this is the interior art. And then this week, right, while I'm on talking about this, I actually had one of our artists from and here's the thing, I got to figure out which one was which, because I know that one's Portuguese and one's Spanish, right? So I had each one of these is different. So if you know how to speak Portuguese or Spanish, you'll know exactly what it is. So what I did was I said, like, because Robot Nation is such an important book for me as a release, because it's going to be the first one we released from Plunge, from our own Kickstarter page, Plunge NZ, right? Plunge NZ, right? That we would have to be something special, right? It's a standalone book, which means that this is a one and done, if we'd ever be once and done, but it's an ongoing series. So it allows to go into the stores, or comic stores, because they don't have to worry for another year or 6 months or whatever for the next book. And so we offered them something as well. We said we'll give them a comic book store only cover for free if they buy the other lot, right? The pack that we put out. But also then I turned to my Portuguese speaking artist, and also to my so there's a Spanish from Argentina and Portuguese from Brazil. So Portuguese speaking artists from Brazil. So who are working on their own 2 books with me, right? 2 different books. And I said, hey, could you do that for me? He said, yeah. So one of them did this page and one of them the others. So if you know how to speak that language, you know, or read that language, you can, you know, read it, right? And so, yeah, it's so cool. I did the lettering, by the way, bubbles and all that. So, you know, this way you can see, you know, it's 2 different pages. And is it the same one? Did I do? Oh, there it is. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, that's what was the difference. I was like, why is it the same food? So you can see the, you know, wait, I think I know who I gave which page to. I think this is Portuguese, right? And then the other one is Spanish, right? So this is that one, right? So I figured it out, right? Because I was like, okay, I'll give 1 page to that and 1 page to that. So this is what's like, you know, Trouble with Bobo, the first story, which is around about 18 pages, if I remember right. Yeah, it's 26 pages. So the other story is 12 pages, which is this one here, which is Robot Nation, the title story. So yeah, so not only are we doing a one shots, I mean not one shot, a standalone first issue. Not only that, then we're going to do it for the comic shops, right? I'll show you the cover for that. It should be here somewhere. Photos. There you go. There's the cover for it. So this is the cover for the comic shop. Only for the comic shop, because there's 2 versions of this cover. So this one's for the comic shop owners for free to buy the pack, and also this is the, you know, this is the kind of like the standard cover, art by Francisco Conti, the cover artist, interior artist, right? Same person. That's something that we do for ourselves, which is like if you're doing the interior art, you get to do a cover art so that people know what's inside. You're not going to do bait and switch for the first cover, right? So this is a standard cover, and this is the color, you know, what you call it, color samples. We're looking at doing for that because the Kickstarter will have color samples. Go back, right? So you know, you can see what's in black and white, and then you got the color samples there for what we're going to be doing when it comes to color. And the other one here is just showing, like, this is the art, right? When the artist, this frustrates me. People just jumping in from everywhere, trying to be Kickstarter, you know, promoters and stuff, trying to make money off the back of us. You know, but I mean, like, if you like our work, just share the damn thing, right? Share the link. That's all it takes. You know, but yeah, so this is you know, work in project for the same cover that that we're giving away free for comic stores. So you get, you know, this is the, I might actually put that in the book as well, because this book is becoming 40 pages or more, especially 36. But with all the, you know, all the amazing artwork and stuff that's coming in, and the fact that we're releasing it all in Spanish and Portuguese and English, you know, it's yeah, it's going to be, you know, okay, and so this is what we're talking about, like having, you know, different stuff, because you know, because of all the changes, I'm having to change all this as well, what we're going to do with the project. So yeah, there'll be some pretty cool things coming out. Also, I was talking about Art Victim, right? So Art Victim did a, you know, is working on a piece for us as fan art, and so this is his work here, right? And you can follow him, and then all you have to put in there is @ and it's Art Victim. So this is his page that he's doing for us, and I'm going to figure out what it looks like and then where we can put it in the book. There's also a Christian Zaffo piece that he's done that I'm actually going to be also doing the flats for soon. Once I finish the flats for, you know, for this one, I'll go and do the flats for that one, and then go and color. So this is how big this book has gotten. Like, it's only, you know, it was a 36-page comic book, digital, right? Now it's going to be friggin' over 40 pages because of all the amazing work that's been offered up for free. So this is another cover, right? So there's this cover here. That's this one here. You don't see the full one, right? So this is like part of it, and that's just the top part of the body. Also, you know, a female robot, and there was going to do 2 versions of that as well. Safe for work and not safe for work version. You know, and so this is, you know, the longer this takes, the more people want to get involved with us for this project, which is, I'm all happy for it. I'm also looking forward to it, you know, because not only that, we're also working on a cover for Howler that's going to go in there as advertisement for that book that Andrade is doing right now, right? Louise is doing right now, who's working on this book right now, Howler. He's actually done the first page, and he's doing the, you know, second. He's done, like, we storyboarded the whole first book and actually part of the second book as well. And then, you know, because we need the characters, how they look and stuff. And so right now he's doing a, you know, the cover for this that we can then put into Robot Nation. This is why it's taking a bit longer, but also I want to make sure that we fulfill our, you know, our Kickstarter before we go and put this book out. Kickstarter for Incredible. So if you know, last year we put a Kickstarter out for, you know, for Incredible #1, and so I got to fulfill that first, right? Before I put you know, that this goes to people's hands before I can start a new project, because that's, you know, how are you going to trust me if I don't do this one first and get into your hands and then go, hey, back my other one? That, you know, so waiting for this to get back from the printers and get it out to people. So the moment this is in people's hands, Robot Nation, right, is going to be the next one out into people's hands. I mean, sorry, next one to Kickstarter. But Kickstarter, that Robot Nation is such a, you know, I'm so proud of this book. Here's the thing, I don't put out a book unless right now into Kickstarter unless I'm proud of it. And so, you know, we offered up, I put the black and white out so that people could see what the book was, that you could actually read it, right, in black and white, you know, before, you know, you got sample pages, you could go see it. And then you also showed that, like, these are some, you know, this is what not safe for work, you know, variant cover that we're releasing. You know, and this is the one I was mentioned earlier. I keep forgetting to change the image here. This road race sad image for the, you know, for the comic stores. And then you got the regular cover, right? So it's only for $2.40 US right now, which is around about it's about $4.50 New Zealand, right? It's pretty cheap. Talk about cheap, right? Well, expensive, right? I saw, I just saw a video for a promo that came out with another, like, for comic book promo art book, which is about 10 pages long, including the cover, like the front and back cover. Then you got 8 pages inside. That was released as part of something else, and what you paid for, you had to pay $75, and then you got that, or as an add-on. And I was thinking, 8-page preview book of somebody's artwork. What a fucking ripoff! Excuse my language. So, you know, if I was doing that, I'd grab all my artist, like all the artwork we have from, you know, from like, you know, Francisco, from friggin' James, from Constantino, from Shane, right? From Louise, from Joachim, from Thomas, right? From Kevin, who's the artist on, and I'll get like 4 or 5 pages of each of their work and then put that. So it's actually another whole book, not give you 8 pages. And I thought that was quite sad to do that. Like, you know, especially if somebody's paying $75. I don't understand this whole thing with crowdfunding, where they've like expect you to pay more, especially if it's not variant, like overpricing. Because I know, you know, like, I'm okay with paying $20 for a book from crowdfunding, because I know how much it costs to print, because if you're just only doing like a couple hundred issues, I mean copies, because you're not like putting like a 10,000 books or 20,000 books into stores, because all those books are already self-financed by the adverts that goes in. Like that's why they have like 10 pages of adverts. But when you start charging like about $30-$40 for a 20-page book or 25-page book, or what, like a 32 pages, I would say, because 32 pages kind of standard, because 22 pages of like actual work art, I always try to go a bit more, 24, 26, so on. But the other 10 pages are kind of like, kind of like other covers, artwork, couple of pages of like 2 pages of promotions for your other books or somebody else's book. You got your interior, then you got your interior credits, and then you've got your first information page, which is what I always do, 1, 2, 3. So cover, interior, inside credit page, info page, and then you go into the comic. And then after that you go to back matter, some extra artwork, something that you put in there just that is not actually in the part of in the book, or like sketches, so that people get a bit more behind the scenes of your artist's work, because it's not AI. So you got actual pencil paper work, some back examples of upcoming work, maybe even a poster for the next book in pencil. Oh, and then you've kind of like a letters page, what you've been up to, what is your what is info page about the artist, background about them, what they've done, or me as a writer, or what, because you're not going to want to have me as a writer on every single book after that, right? Because you already know me. If you don't know, if it's the next thing, you just go check out my YouTube channel or whatever. But the other thing is, then you can also help somebody else's book have their adverts in there. But I think it's kind of crowdfunding is such a great thing. I think it's such a great thing. I think it's one of the greatest things that's happened to creatives, and I think we have to treat it with respect. That's why I say, like, I'm not going to release another book on crowdfunding until that one's in their hand, right, of people, because I want to build a trust of our backers, of you guys watching this, so that you can trust me that when I say this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. One of the saddest things is, like, I'm having to deal with some issues that's out of my hand, and it's like that's kind of like really bummed me out. And so those days I feel like, why the hell am I doing this? But then I look at my artist's work, turns up, and I'm like, man, this is awesome, thank you, now I feel much better. Why? And I know why we're doing this, because you guys are doing great work, and I get to live my dream, right? All the 35 years of reading comics, and 20 years ago wanting to 15 years ago deciding that this is what I want to do, which is tell stories. Now I got a chance to do that, and crowdfunding's allowing me to do that. But yeah, I think anybody who's like like I said, putting down crowdfunding, I understand why they would, but if you're doing it to drag people away from it because you have something else to offer, just go offer you something else, but don't go poo-poo somebody else's. So if that's how you want to do something, go do that something, but don't try to take try to make people not do what not back crowdfunders. So with that, the link for Robot Nation is there, and like I said, you can go check it out for $2.40 US, which is like about $4.50 New Zealand, or it's like $4. Is it $4? Probably about $1.50. No, it's probably $3 Canadian or something like that. Aussie's pretty close to our own size. So it's around about $5, $4 actually, might be $4 Aussie. So very cheap. Price of a coffee, man. Can't go wrong. 28 pages of comic book story, plus also Francisco's amazing art, and he's actually put in something pretty cool from Isomorph. Yeah. So now, one of the other things I've got here, I was going to bring up, let's have a look at, actually, while we're here, let's go have a look at, where's Nobi? Nobi's there, right? Is that you, Nobi? I thought I had Nobi there. Hold on, give me 1 sec. I'll get Nobi up. And then, because I want to see, if he's, it's his, you know, if he's finishing the next 4 hours or something. So let's get more eyes on his book, because it's a really cool book. I mean, the artwork's really cool. I've read the first one. I did a review, so you guys can check out my review there, right, for the Origins. I think it's, you know. So in the last hour or so, what was it for? Yeah, he's gone up like another $40 or something. So that's pretty cool. And the link's in the chat, so you can, you know, go check it out. And if you don't want to buy it, you can do what you know, right now. You can also, you know, go put some money in there. I actually did that myself, right? Chucked in $5 because I'm, you know, I'm getting like my whole next thing that I'm getting from overseas, his books in print. So, you know, I get to, you know, that's how I'm. But still, I still want to put some money down because I got to have a digital copy of Outbreak and a couple others, and you know, so why not, right? So yeah, go check out Niobe. Have a look at all the amazing work, like I mentioned earlier. We were talking about it, like you know, Art Victim did a put some work in here. Who's also, you know, offered, you know, as I mentioned just before, he's doing a piece for us. So I'm quite really cool and excited about that. And give Art Victim a follow. It's at Art Victim on here on YouTube and on Facebook and so on, as well as at on Twitter, right? Because you know, it'll be cool because he's supporting us, and I want to support people. You know, the other thing I want to so let me just go back to this page, to our page, and like at the moment it's not complete, right? And it's not set, you know, it's just there. I haven't finished it because I'm still going, you know, once I've got all my art worked out, I'll be able to go in there, put up the pages. So let's have a look at the basics for Robot Nation Kickstarter, right? Is it specific basic? So that's what it's going to look like at the front. Mature sci-fi horror styles. Let's go there. Rewards. What are we looking at when we go to this? Right, so you need to go through this, clean it up, you know, some of the sample stuff that we're looking at, you know, got the safe for work, not safe for work, you know, virgin print and so on. And then there's like limited set series of stuff. And also we haven't added in, like, you know, what the comic book sets will be. And you'll see these are all in New Zealand prices. So it's like very high. Like when you look in America, it's like half the price, right? So yeah. What is it like? Full color digital, it's like about $5, right? And then like it's about 15 or something, and a full color, you know, print. But then after that, it'll just go up, whatever it goes up, depending on what we're doing with it. I was thinking about doing a black and white and a color set, but I don't think anybody wants to print black and white set if you got color, right? But so there was something I wanted to, something else I was going to bring up to chat about while I'm still, because I'm going to carry on doing this. What have we got? So I'm really glad for, I'm really grateful, Larry, with Niobe Comics, right? I'm really excited. Like I've already mentioned in my review, I've just ordered their, which is basically, it's $9 US, but it's around about 25 New Zealand for that book. And I'm getting it through my, you know, comic store here. Now, oh, here we go. Is that the one? Yeah. So this is, let me get over here. So this is something that's got to do with Xbox and gaming and stuff. And, you know, you guys know that I've been talking about gaming and to, that people should stop doing FOMO with gaming, right? So this is Derek Anderson, the DA, right, on his channel, and he's put out a video. I was going to use somebody else's, but this is a bit shorter. So while he's talking about that, and I'll go, do some more work, because this is an art stream and not you just listening to me. So where are you, Derek? What's the DA? All right.
Marketing managers.
Here we go.
What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. So, yeah, another day, another That Park Place article. All right, with John F. Trent once again talking about this racism stuff going on in the video game industry. It seems like this shit is just starting to ramp up more and more and more. All right. And Elon had his comments on it. Elon Musk reacts to Xbox Global marketing manager's objectionable comments. Elon says it should not be acceptable for any company in the gaming industry to be racist and sexist against white guys. I'll go a step further, and it shouldn't be acceptable for any company in any industry, all right, to be racist or sexist against anybody, period. That's how it should be. Like, why are we still dealing with this crap? This is the thing that kind of pisses me off, especially that it's in the entertainment industry. Look, we're seeing it right now. Like, racism and sexism against white guys is just pretty much at an all-time high in the entertainment industry. Whether it's video games, whether it's Hollywood, it doesn't matter. It's just out of control at this point. These cats will just continue to push that narrative. Oh, white guys, yeah, we got to figure out something else with them. All right. Let's start trying to pump up all of these other cats. DEI is like the name of the game at this point. That's why I keep saying, like, ultimately the end game of DEI is just racism. All right. It's just really racism at the end of the day. You could try to color it up and, pretty it up any way you want to. This little pie in the sky ideology. Oh, no, it's about diversity. It's about, we got to make the unheard heard. We got to get some representation going. No, it's just racism, y'all. It's just you hate white guys. That's it. That's all. You just hate white people and you just want to see them brought low.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. End of story. I'm tired of people dodging it. Let's just call a spade a spade. It's just racism. Okay. Like Elon is saying, it's racism against white guys, And it's like, if you do the switcheroo game, it is easy to see that it's racism. All right. Like, here's the quote from this chick. All right. This chick, what her name is, Kelly Lombardi. So here's the quote that she posted up on Twitter, right? Bold as brass, too. Like, they don't even think this shit through. They just post it because they're unafraid, all right? Because racism against white dudes is the name of the game now. Yeah. She says, raise your hand if you're not a white man and you buy video games. Now, again, do the switcheroo, all right? Raise your hand if you're not a black woman. Raise your hand if you're not a Latino male. Just change the races Asian, around from white man to any other race. And I guarantee you, people would be up in arms. Everybody would be coming after your ass trying to burn some shit down. And they coming after her too, okay? Because what happens after you post some dumb shit like this? Yep, got to lock up the account, okay? You got to lock it all up. Oh, these posts are protected. They can't just sit there and take that L, all right?
Yeah.
Like, I wish there was a rule, to be honest with you. I wish Elon Musk would institute some sort of a rule that said, if you post dumb shit on Twitter and it starts to get ratioed to hell and back, we ain't letting you delete that shit. We ain't letting you delete nothing and you can't protect your post. Too bad. All right. If your shit was unprotected before that, no, you can't do that. That's it. There it is. All right. Yeah. You got to sit there and hold that L for 24 to 48 hours or whatever. Yeah. Or you can call in or whatever. Oh, please, can you delete this? It's like, nah, I'm sorry, ma'am. Okay, you broke the dumb shit rule or whatever. You posted dumb shit. You got to sit there for 24 hours. After 24 hours, you can delete it, but you got to eat that shit for the next 24 to 48 hours. Yeah. Something like that. Elon, make you happy, bro. Because that would put an end to a lot of this crap. People would have to start thinking, all right, before I post this crap, and then no hate to white dudes. It's just another day in the gaming industry that minorities have to fight to prove they exist. And I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? What is this? What are you talking about? This is the crap that really pisses me off because I don't understand what you are talking about right now, chick. Like, do you think like minorities are fighting to prove existence? Like, is that really what you think? Where are you getting this from? That's why I always ask all y'all brothers and sisters out there and anybody else that's a quote unquote underrepresented minority or whatever you want to call yourself. Are y'all coming to these idiots? Are y'all coming to these punks and asking them to do this for you? No. Because where are you getting this from, Kelly? Right? Like this chick right here. Where is she getting this from?
Yeah.
Which one of these motherfuckers is asking you to be their champion? Oh, can you please fight for my rights to exist? Who is asking this idiot for this crap? I just don't understand that. This is like the same thing when I talk about race swaps. Who is asking for these damn race swaps? Hey, Disney, can you take these white characters and swap them into black characters, please? We would also appreciate that. Yep. Ain't nobody asking for that crap. I don't know a single black man or woman or Latino man or woman or any quote unquote underrepresented group, minority, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't even like using these words, but just so that I can play into this nonsense. I don't know anybody that's asking for that. Okay. Any self-respecting person asking for it. Let me put it that way. I don't know any self-respecting black man, black woman, Latino man, Latino woman that says, yeah, I need some race swaps. Okay. Yeah, I need this chick right here, Kelly Lombardi, to go out there and fight so you can prove that I exist. I'm like, what the hell is this? Who put you in charge of that committee? Like, nobody's asking for this crap. You're making up some bullshit in your head and you're running with it. And then when you go on Twitter and you post it, oh, nah, shit, I gotta lock my account down. It's like, fuck, man, stop. Please, just stop, okay? Take about 5, 6, 7 steps back, okay, before you go out there and post dumb shit on the internet. And, like, just think, like, all right, nobody's really asked me for this, you know? And look, if the only people that talk to you about this are some woke morons that you met in college, you're probably going down the wrong path, Kelly. I'm just going to let you know that. You probably went down the wrong path, okay? Yeah. Because the majority of people that live in this country, I can speak for this country, can't really say for other countries, but the majority of people that live in this country, they're not asking for this. They're not asking you to be their champion. They're not asking you to come on the internet and make some dumbass statements. Nobody's asking for you to do this. And then when you do it, don't lock your shit up. I swear, I wish Elon would just break that rule out. Like, nah, too bad. You got to hold that L for at least 24 to 48 hours. Yeah. And look, read the comments in your dumb posts. All right. You put a dumb post out there. You should be forced. Nah, you need to read and respond to all of these comments. All right. Before you get your shit, where you can delete it. All right. You got to respond to at least like 25% of the post or the comments that's in here, And then once you hit that tick, okay, now you can delete it. Because at least now you have to have a conversation and explain your stupidity. And I didn't understand what else. You got to do something. All right. Instead of just, oh shit, I'm getting ratio, delete. Nah, there's got to be a way. Okay. And this person, savvy artist, why did you feel the need to phrase the tweet like this? Why can't you just say raise your hand if you like games? Are you aware the largest demographic of gamers is Asian, not white men? What fight is happening today? Like, yo, I have no idea, chick, savvy artist. I have no idea what this chick is talking about.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody understands. I don't think she understands what the hell she's talking about. She just out here running her mouth, trying to look good in front of her friends or whatever. She got some minority friends, some underrepresented friends or whatever, and she trying to look good in front of them. Yeah. I got your back, girl. Don't worry. I'm going to see what the non-white people think about, blah, blah, blah. Instead of actually talking to people and saying, yo, let me just see, I'm gonna post this thing out there and let's see, on the back end, if, underrepresented groups come in. Like, if you was really interested in like a minority viewpoint, that would be a more honest way of doing it. Instead of trying to tailor the conversation around the white people that you see that's going to be problematic or whatever, right? But it says, the post was screen capped by YouTuber The Quartering, who wrote, meet the global head of marketing for Xbox. And that's when it was Ashley St. Clair who came in. This is a massive problem right here. This is a massive problem. Plus, it's widespread throughout the entire gaming industry. It's the gaming industry. It's the entertainment industry, Hollywood, everywhere, okay? Everywhere. This racism is just like absolutely insane. So then that's when Elon Musk reacted to Ashley St. Clair's post, writing, it should not be acceptable for any company in the gaming industry to be racist and sexist against white guys. It's just amazing. Like, we're still doing this shit, in 2024, because, like I said, we had licked a lot of this shit in like the 80s and the 90s. Like, a lot of this stuff was over and done with, man. We were finished, and then like we were moving forward, but then I guess like the race hustlers realized, oh shit, I can't make money off of victimhood no more. I can't use victimhood as a way to, make some bread or, get special status. So yeah, I guess we better throw the victim cards and the race cards back out there, and we got to drum this shit all the way back up so we can continue to, get our hustle on, And it's sad, man. It's like the idea that you need diversity, or in order to have diversity, you got to bring down white guys. We got to bring white guys down. Like, how are you improving anything? You know, like even if you were to think on that level, it's like, yo, if somebody is up here, let's say you think white guys are up here, you know, then yo, I need to raise my game. I need to raise my standard up. I'm not trying to like kneecap these guys, bring them down so now they're even with me. Like, how is that helping anybody? That helps nobody. I don't understand this concept, right? We got to knock these white guys down a peg or two, all right? Instead of you just focusing on what it is you need to be doing. No, you're going to try to knock it down. Yeah, it's the white guys, you know. It's straight up racism and it's straight up sexism. I mean, I just don't understand it. Yeah, and then when you come to Twitter and just start reading like some of the responses, Cabrutus says, as a former Xbox guy and as someone that still holds the brand in a special place in my heart, I must say that I'm glad I decided to move over to Steam. Yeah, because this is what it is, man. All right. This is what it is. This chick Kelly has absolutely, you know, stuck her foot in her mouth and then she locks her account. It's such cowardice too, man. Why are you being a coward? Yeah, again, that's why they need to institute that rule, Elon. Then Grums comes in. This is what Elon was talking about. When Microsoft and Xbox's global marketing manager starts off with no hate to white dudes, you can fully expect hate to white dudes to follow. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's that telltale sign. All right. Oh, this is racist. It's probably racist. And then here's Vera Dark. If Kelly Lombardi, a global game marketer at Xbox, had simply said there's room for everyone in the gaming industry, I would be 100% supportive of that statement. Most would be. But she only said that after denigrating white men and pushing a victimhood mentality. How pathetic. Yeah, so, you know, she came back with this post right after she locks everything up, because then she locked it all up. She says, I deleted my last tweet because it was poorly worded, lacked context, and didn't accurately reflect how I feel. The gaming industry is incredibly diverse, and the more voices we have creating, watching, and playing games, the better. There's room for everyone. Yeah, again, the whole point of you making that post in the first place, it's just some sort of a weird ass virtue signal. Who is asking for you to say all of this and do all of this shit? Okay, nobody is asking you to be their champion. All right, to stand up for the little. Like, we're good. All right. This statement right here is a dumb statement. And then you immediately recognize the problem in the statement, which is why you said no hate to white dudes. You immediately, before you hit send or before you hit post, you recognize, okay, this is a problematic statement. You know, so I better follow it up in parentheses with no hate to white dudes and this whole nonsense about minorities having to fight to prove they exist. Okay, you recognize that this was a problematic statement. So this is why I don't even buy this nonsense right here. Oh, you know, it lacked context. It didn't accurately. No, you said exactly what it is you wanted to say. Okay, you said exactly what you wanted to say. So I don't buy it. All right. They need to leave these posts up. They need to let these people eat these L's and just eat them. All right. Because look, it only took her how long to get that thing? This thing up 5:27 p.m. Yep, like an hour and 10 minutes later, taking it down. Okay, I got to take this shit down and write a retraction. Again, it took an hour for you to recognize that. No, you knew it was problematic from the beginning. You put this little thing in parentheses, you know, trying to cover your ass. Didn't work. Okay, we seeing through all of this shit. Kelly, knock it off. Okay, nobody's asking for this. All right. Anybody else watching? Nobody's asking for this. We didn't ask you to be our champion. We are very capable. And like I said, I hate even putting myself in that category. But at the end of the day, you know, no minority, nobody, period, needs to have some, you know, white chick or anybody for that matter. Anybody speak on their behalf. Okay. You speak for yourself. And let us speak for us, and you just go on about your world and your life or whatever, and just market video games, okay? You're bad at this, okay? You're horrible at this shit, okay? Just get out there and start marketing video games before Microsoft fires your ass. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think about this situation. I think this is just absolutely out of control at this point. All of this push for racism and denigrating white dudes, it's just getting out of control, okay? And
yeah, it's like it's weird. It's really weird having someone else think that they should speak for you rather than letting you speak for yourself. And the funniest thing is, like, you know, white people aren't even the majority players, and yet targeting them like that way. But then again, it's just racism. It doesn't even have to do about numbers, right? It's just pure racism. And it's sad to watch leftist white people behave this way as if like they're like have to be allies. Just some strange stuff happening there, man. You know, with this whole victim mentality they have for themselves. Like it's got to a point where they hate themselves because if the left, the people they're hanging out with has made them feel like that's the only way they can feel any sort of good for the achievements they've made. They have to feel bad about the achievements they've made because they've taken somebody else's spot. You don't take anybody's spot. If you earn that spot, you earn that spot. Nobody's going to think about it. Like it's only if you got a race hire thing or that sort of thing we talk about. Then of course that's gonna then people will challenge that. And plus, why would you want to accept a job if it's based on race anyway? But I think like he said, we already had dealt with this in the 80s and 90s. We were going on a really cool, way. I know what it was like in the 80s and 90s because it was bad sometimes, right? I faced it as well, so I know what it was like. And so when it finished, right, as we started finishing the 80s and 90s, and we we were at the place where we accept people, we realized that we were happy with the way things were going, and comes the new movement of racists. Let's target, make everything about race again. Like he said, hustlers, right? It's all about hustling. All right, so we've got that one there done, and I got to figure out something in the middle because I don't completely like that being blank. So, but I'll go through all the others, and then we'll look at what we're going to do with the rest. So, because I want to make sure because it's all patterned, I want uniform. That's the word I was looking for before. It's because it's all uniformed on this, like 3 circles, big circles, right? Within circles of the cross and everything, right? And then also, another one on the little ones with a sun sort of thing look on like that, right? I kind of want it all to be very uniform. So I don't want to like move on to one, something else if I, some other pattern if I can finish the same patterns around. All right, what else is there? So let's put on some music, right? What can we watch? Let me just check this. I'm not sure how old this is. Oh. So Decoy Voice, I enjoy his channel. He does long live streams as well as little short clips, and it's pretty straight up. I like I like his content, right? So let me see where it is. If I got it here, I do have to go to his page. All right, hold on. I'll have to go to the page. So let's go find Decoy Voice, and then we'll play. There's a couple clips I wanted to play. Where did I put one thing? Annoying because I had like a new wood structure. I had it, so I was going to play that. Then I was going to play the next one, so that you were aware of what we're talking about here. So let me see if I can get this right. Videos. I think it was about 3 months ago or 6 months ago, because it's a follow-up story. So this one, I think it's this one. Let me just quickly check here because no, that's the wrong one. Is it that one? No, that's the wrong one. Is it 3 months ago? What's this one? Oh, here we go. So this is the one about like the Twitch streamer or somebody, whatever, kick streamer, Johnny Somali. Right after like being a pest, right? This is the thing, like virtual pest, right? Not virtual like in online, but actual on the line, on
The American streamer in Japan that claimed he was Somalian did crimes with his friend, not once, but several times on live stream. Eventually, not only was he arrested, but his copycat accomplice was as well. Now, the original streamer has continuously been arrested, released, and arrested again for months now. But curiously, his friend has been released and is not only streaming again, but laughing about the not Somalian guy that still remains behind bars.
Why am I laughing, bro? That's not. He's probably going to be in jail for another two-ish to 6 months in jail. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine what this is going through. He got to be getting his booty. I'm trying to tell you. Hold on. I can't answer if I'm still in Japan or not.
So his not-so-cryptic message claims that he is still in Japan, but his view on nuisance streaming in the country has completely changed.
I will no longer be streaming IRL in Japan. Look, now a lot of you guys can call me a... If you guys knew how hard the police were on my... how many videos they had of me and Johnny, you would know it is not safe to stream in Japan anymore. Bro, I mean, look at all the other IRL streamers. Sus is never going back to Japan. Homeless, I'm pretty sure, is probably never streaming. Show quit. I don't know where the show went. Swimmer Nick got banned.
Now, isn't that interesting that harsh criminal punishments not only stopped the serial offender from reoffending, but discouraged all other instances of the same crime? It's almost like the justice system works exactly the way it's intended if you let it, because for whatever reason, Western society decided that they no longer had the stomach to watch criminals suffer consequences. As the elephant in the room is, why is this guy out, but not the other guy? They documented themselves committing trespass several times together. They got arrested pretty much together. And with Japan's record of having a 99.8% conviction rate, and they were looking at 3 years prison time for their crimes, one of them is out laughing about how ironclad the case is against his accomplice and is still hanging out in the country. While no longer able to make any money streaming, I don't think he's taking a vacation as much as he's about to sing some courtroom karaoke. And sadly, that's what needed to happen, as the first guy had been bothering the Japanese for half a year. Whenever he would get scared, he would pretend to apologize.
Sincerely apologize to the country and the people of Japan. It was wrong, it was disrespectful.
Then go right back to nuisance streams, but now inspiring more streamers seeking out Japan to panhandle pennies online. So now the Japanese have been cracking down on these types, where the Live Door article loosely translates to railway companies possibly restricting filming, specifically targeting filming for the purpose of commercial activities, targeting not only the nuisance streamers, but those streaming themselves, stopping those nuisance streamers. As you can remember the band of Japanese guys that went after the American troublemakers, where the guy in a blonde wig had a very specific tactic to use against him, but later seemed to team up with him to make content together, as he was later claiming he got into a police car without permission, but then was taken away in a police car with permission. Now, I'm no expert on the Japanese legal system, but it appears they're going after everybody breaking the rules, regardless of who they are or where they're from, as there are plenty of people online that want to defend the American streamers saying it's just because Japan is xenophobic and it's only happening because of their race. Or people even coming after me in my comment section saying I must have a problem with an entire people just because of my coverage of one criminal. But notice how the Japanese police aren't just kicking down the doors of black English teachers just enjoying their dinner. Or I've never done a video on someone quietly minding their own business on a subway. But somehow, people in Western culture have been trained to think bringing up race is like some sort of Harry Potter spell to make people back off of them. But too bad I don't really care what idiots online think of me, and the Japanese haven't been conditioned to compete in the Oppression Olympics.
At least they haven't put me in handcuffs yet, like they would in America, bro. Are you guys serious? That's racist.
Yeah, that's racist.
So my skin color? No. My skin color? My skin color? I'm American.
My skin color.
My skin color
mentality.
My skin color. No. My skin color. My skin color.
As apparently this guy was getting his bike checked for registration, but then posted the video on TikTok complaining that the Japanese police were being racist, tagging BLM. To which people replied on Twitter, this is just what happens to everybody's bike in Japan, where in large cities they will just randomly check you for your papers and had done so for decades. With others explaining that this isn't about race, it's about assimilating to Japanese culture.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the Japanese YouTuber Takashi in Japan, he interviews foreigners talking about this all of the time.
They tend to be the kind of foreigner that is loud, kind of get looked down on by Japanese people, and that reflects on the rest of us, like all foreigners.
Get used to not being a loud foreigner.
I mentioned this before about migrants.
As it seems most non-Japanese feel pressured to fit into the more docile society, but they do appreciate what it is compared to the West.
No danger whatsoever. People here in Japan are very nice. It really shocked me with how polite everyone is here versus America.
So no wonder stores in Tokyo can be left entirely unattended under the assumption that you'll pay for your goods and go. Meanwhile, in the States, everything must be locked down, as it's apparently a social media trend to just steal detergent for digital likes, which is likely why we're starting to see Japan is for the Japanese protest in the streets.
People locals gonna get pissed off if you treat them like shit.
But back to the original subject of streamers getting potential prison time for petty crimes, surely that arrest would never happen in any deep blue American city, but absolutely zero deep blue American cities could see the safety that Japan has. And sadly, we live in a society that thinks you're a bad person if you point out why. But if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on what happens when your race grift finally backfires.
Yeah, that's the video I was going to do, this one here, but like I think I felt ill, and yeah, I think I was really ill, and so I didn't end up doing it in the end. So here's the follow-up to that video, and then another one. All right, so remember, this is 3 months apart.
This guy finally got out of Japanese jail, only to say he learned nothing. So I hope you're watching Toyonaga, and I'm going to continue to do IRL, travel the world, and accomplish
got in jail,
went to Thailand, and continued to get pressed by Japanese men. And after his kick ban, he's now streaming in Tel Aviv, until he drunkenly encountered this guy in the streets.
You said like you gay. You're gay? No, I'm not. You want to fight right now? We can fight right now. Put this right here. I'm gay. I'm gay? I'm gay? Let's go then. I'm gay? I'm gay? Disrespect me, bro. I say
don't disrespect you, bro.
Don't touch him.
Dude,
after acting hard to some random dude, this guy in blue came out of nowhere.
Act like a gangster. Come and talk shit to me. You act like then what are you? Then what are you? Man, don't know from Israel. Who are you? Who are you? What I do, man? You don't know what? Yo, what was the problem earlier? What was the problem earlier? You hold it.
it was only about this guy.
Yeah! Yeah!
Now he's trying to be hard.
Y'all started showing me go to jail. Yo, y'all need to go to jail. Yo, arrest that. Yes. You dumbass monkey. You monkey. Go to jail, monkey.
And I'm censoring it, but he's calling him both a monkey and the hard R.
somehow boasting about being beaten.
I was chilling. I was talking to those 2 Israeli dudes, and all of a sudden, 10 poor Ethiopians start attacking me because I'm rich and I speak English. They're jealous or something. Sorry, you're a second-class citizen here.
And at some point in time, someone else runs up on him.
Guys, that was like day 1. Oh! Yo, when you run up on me? Yo, what the f up? Just say your book. Yo, shout.
And the day after, he appears to have a ridiculous discount Harry Potter scar across his skull that allegedly cost him over $400 to treat, as he apparently needed a tetanus shot as well. Imagine having such a sad existence that your only opportunity to make money is to literally document yourself being bullied across the globe, like some sort of bootleg Nat Geo crocodile hunter, but from the perspective of the prey. Because even though he says he's Somalian, he's actually Ethiopian, just like the guys he's calling primates and the hard R, saying they're jealous because he's rich. Meanwhile, he's panhandling for pennies, to which I hadn't seen anybody biting, spending several hours crowdfunding a medical bill that nobody cares to contribute to. Now, I do understand there's a long roster of live streamers making content that I simply don't understand, and it doesn't mean they're not making millions. But this guy isn't that, because if you look at his live chats, it's just people begging him to confront anybody, calling him small, saying he'll get knocked out again, and when he's actually being beaten, they're just laughing at him like a clown. And although being an online influencer is now a sought-after career, I somehow doubt being the digital village idiot is, where the only reason people tune in to see your face is to laugh at it when it gets a backslash branded across it. And at this point in time, not only does he accept this is the best thing he can do to make money, he's actually leaning into it, as his streams now have this disclaimer stating it's just a skit with CGI and AI images and sound, how it's just a comedy where everybody is a paid professional actor. And everybody knows that's a lie, but he's been banned from so many platforms, it's pretty much his only play to stay on at least one of them. That is, if something more drastic doesn't happen first, as those alleged Ethiopians just slashed him over basically nothing, and now he's on camera calling them all sorts of disrespectful words on the internet, then broadcasts his location every single night since. I just don't think this is going to end well for him. So I honestly hope he just learns his lesson and walks away from streaming before he's left with something worse than a literal L on his forehead. But if you appreciate my concise, light-hearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on how vigilantes are finally returning to Philly.
It's one of the things, like, I don't understand the idea of being a nuisance, like, just for like kicks, like for for especially in other people's country. I've mentioned earlier, like, because I've lived over here in New Zealand for so many years, there are some rules I don't understand about Fiji, because I don't grow up under that culture. So I've had to learn some when I got there, like from my parents and actually from people, like actually in the clubs, like, don't be showing your money around. Like, I'm like spending $10 for one jug. That's normal here. That's not normal in Fiji. If you buy a jug every couple of minutes, I mean, like every half hour or something, because that's a lot of money to them, right? And I don't mean that in a disparaging way, but that's basically what, or looking down way. But that's what I was, like a waitress or bar person told me, like, don't do that, man. Because that's just, I understand, because they understand, like these people, because the workers, they understand, because they deal with this tourists all the time, so they understand what, and some of them they've actually traveled overseas, so they understand what the thing is. $10 is, is not that much here for us, but if you're in Fiji, yeah, it's a bit more, right? So you have to behave a certain way overseas. You can't expect people to just you can just behave like you behave at home. It's like you have to be a good guest, to your host country, because there's certain things, because not only are you just there, but you're also representing yourself to them. I mean, your own culture, your own people, right? Your own country. And then, then when they get pissed off at you and because of the way you're behaving, and then they say, we don't want you in here anymore. You can't turn around and go, oh, it's because of my race. No, it's because of your belligerent behavior, right? Because they're okay with everybody else. They're not okay with your behavior. But because now, they find that people like you, right? Doesn't matter if you're race or something, people like you, because of your behavior, they're not allowing other people, from other places there because of your behavior. And that's quite sad. It's that's a very sad thing. And I think, yeah, that's why you have to be, you have to behave well when you go overseas, because people, they're very conservative. You might think they're just like the West. They're not. Conservatives, right? It's normal. They don't have labels, right? Overseas, right? Basically, God, family, right? God and family. That's all they believe in, right? Everywhere else, it seems the West has got there's a high percentage of in the Western society that doesn't have that same mentality. So they go into left and right, and they think that conservatism, which is God and country, right? God, country, family, I should say, is a bad thing. But overseas, majority of people see that as a normal thing. And liberalism and leftism is the minority. So when you go and behave this way overseas, people don't put up with it. So the next video I'm going to put up is another one from Decoy, right? Which recent as well. There's this FAF around from 2 days ago. Oh, wait. Where am I? Did I get that? No, sorry, my bad. I went too far. All right, back again. So this is Thailand, right? Is it the one? Wait. Oof. All right, here we go.
After bothering people in Japan, getting knocked out in their streets, and then thrown in jail, his buddy is continuing their legacy in Tel Aviv. But this guy is now quickly realizing Thailand is not Japan.
I don't know. Control the law. Hey. Yo, I didn't mean to. I pay money. I pay. I take. I take off. Look. Wait. Yeah, I give money. I didn't mean to. No.
And he quickly transitioned into a coward, as apparently this wasn't the first time he got pressed in Thailand.
I'm YouTuber. Go! Stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm American.
Nobody cares if you're American.
All right, you want to fight?
Nobody cares what country you come from.
All right.
They already know you.
Okay.
If you mess around,
okay. You got it. Okay, I'll leave. All right.
And for some reason, it always disproportionately irritates me when travelers go to other countries, offend the locals and their culture, but then try to deflect with, I'm an American, as if that's some sort of Harry Potter spell that protects you from consequences in the third world. Because if he gets tossed into a Thai prison, even though he looks like he does, I don't think he plays in the WNBA, so I doubt Biden would be freeing him anytime soon. Because he's not the first tourist to flex first world citizenship.
I would like the American police right here, right now. Go Canada! Go Canada, please, man! I'm serious.
See ya!
Go Canada!
See ya, bro! But back to the nuisance streamers flexing their fatherless antics as some sort of career path, because I'm beginning to think it's not working, as they're continuously being banned from streaming platforms as it pretty much destroys their brand. But the platform he's currently advertising shows him struggling to raise $200 And apparently he's been at this for a while, barely bringing in $100 in a couple of weeks, where some of his streams barely even see 10 views. And I'm not gonna sit here and flex numbers because I know everybody starts from somewhere. Just because a streamer only gets 10 views today doesn't mean in 6 months that can't easily turn into 1 million. But I really wanna know if this is just an insane amount of confidence or just outright delusion. To think getting knocked out in Japan, thrown in jail, possibly having to snitch against your friend, moving down to Thailand to likely repeat the same cycle again to what looks like less money than a single shift at McDonald's. You would think this just wouldn't seem worth it anymore, not to mention the long-time damage to your public image. Because whether it's a job, a college, or even a girl he's trying to date in the future, all it takes is for one person to recognize him from those videos of when he got popped like a piñata in Japan for them to instantly lose all respect for him. So just like the not Somalian kid, I genuinely hope he can just turn his life around, cease the live streams, and stop being a walking reminder of what happens when you're raised without a strong father figure. But if you appreciate my concise, light-hearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on how his buddy finally found out and tell.
So this is a separate video. Yeah. This is a bit longer, so this is from the, I think it's the same thing.
Out of Japanese jail, and after promising the court that he would never stream again, he immediately started streaming again and ended up ruining his career as he's now banned from the only platform that funds his antics. Oh, and he also almost lost his life. Half a year ago, Johnny Somali was arrested in Japan for being an absolute burden to society. His entire streaming persona consists of him harassing the public for attention on the internet, which ranged from his subway stunt that made him infamous to begin with, to trespassing and disturbing an operation of a restaurant, where both of those latter incidents got him arrested. First time was for the trespassing, then he was held for about 30 days in jail, and then released, but instantly rearrested for disturbing a restaurant. He was then held for another 60 days waiting for his trial, in which he lied a bunch in. And how do we know that he lied? Well, he just streamed, so that's one. But two, which is the wilder one, he happily bragged about lying in the Japanese court on a live stream with one of his friends. I guess the guy is just too dense to realize Japan actually has an extradition treaty with the country that he lives in and the other countries he uses for content. So I guess only time will tell if Japan cares enough about him to actually go through with that. But the streamer he was arrested with, Gino, said that Johnny was going to go to South Korea to stream right after getting out. And shortly after, Johnny announced that he was going to South Korea to slap any BTS member. Yeah, because that's why he'd go to South Korea. But then he rallied his fan base for this brain-dead side quest.
I'll slap BTS. Hey, Pirate Gang members, I want 1,000 of you. Let's all go secure together. All of us in the same plane.
That's so crazy.
We're gonna go to war with BTS. 1,000 of us versus one. How many fans BTS have?
A lot. Like I would say.
We have my fans. 1,000 of us. Can we defeat BTS? I'll tell you. No, small.
They're too small, baby. You know how many famous there? How many?
Pirate Gang versus BTS.
They're crazy.
I know they have 29 million monthly listeners. Yeah. My community is toxic though. We can take huge. We can take them.
And then finally, he went live, but he was in Tel Aviv, Israel. So clearly he hadn't had too much luck in Eastern Asia, so I guess he just decided to roll the dice on Western Asia. And it seems like he just resumed his old antics, which was just harassing randoms on the street for content.
I don't speak English. What's up? You from Brazil? I'm on live right now on YouTube. Don't be shy. What's up? What's up? What's your name?
I have a boyfriend. Hi, here.
What's your boyfriend? How much money you got? Not a lot. How much you got? What's the net worth? Tell me.
I think
you got a broke ass. I'll buy you. Come on. I'll buy you.
That Riz was so bad it deserves a restraining order. I don't think that interaction could have gone worse for him. He completely flops. Then it results in him claiming he can buy her despite making less than your average Starbucks barista. And then to just top it all off, he verbally attacks her when she decides to completely ignore him. But either way, this is content for him because these Kick IRL streamers, they just love humiliating themselves over and over again to keep viewers because viewers hate watch them. And this becomes incredibly clear with the text-to-speech donations, as it seems like so many people just keep donating the most insulting and racist things possible to try to get him in trouble.
Right now, 1,400 people here. 1,400?
CX tipped $5.
You guys are so stupid. I'm turning that off, bro. TTS was too quick. Y'all is idiots. Y'all is not funny. CX sent that? CX? Really?
Idiots.
It seems like after that, Gino posted this on his Discord server.
Nobody wants Johnny to die, man. We have to start pushing positivity. We got to get Johnny back to Asia, guys.
What do you mean back to Asia? He is in Asia. But Johnny also became Jewish and Muslim in the same stream. In his first stream back.
Baruch, Atah, Adonai, Eloheinu, Mashiach, Kiddushanu, Al Mitzvah, Tefillah. Take this.
Your right hand.
Right hand. Yeah.
Like,
and say.
this is so literally sad. It's like, it's a wonder. Like,
So I guess he's just mocking everyone now in the name of content. It sounds like a terrible idea. And this stream doesn't seem to be going as smooth for Johnny as the ones in Japan did.
He said like you gay. You're gay? No, I'm not. You want to fight right now? We can fight right now. I'm gay? I'm gay? Let's go then. No, don't disrespect me, bro. No, don't disrespect me, bro. Don't disrespect me, bro. Don't disrespect me, bro. Don't disrespect me, bro. I say, I don't know where you before. Don't touch him. Guys, this is very, very problem here. No, who are you? What I do, man? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? You coming? I don't know who you are. Who are you? Oh, man. Okay. Don't touch him. Don't know why.
Here it seems like people are actually confronting him right away, as he's only streamed for one single day and he's been jumped multiple times and been in multiple fights, like this one.
This one right here. It's yo, what was the problem earlier? What was the problem earlier?
Then I guess the police saw this and arrest the guy he antagonized. So then Johnny runs up to him and starts calling him a monkey and the hard R over and over again.
Oh, yeah, we just called that, didn't we?
Y'all started
Remember,
showing me go to
it's the same
jail.
people, right? It's his own country, man.
Yo,
Because he
arrest
got
that.
kept open as well.
Yeah,
Because
go to
pretended
jail.
to Somalia.
Go to jail. You dumbass. You go to jail. You go to jail. You go to jail. You
What a wimp.
go to jail.
Like, once a guy's like,
Go to jail.
this guy, and then you
Before
start
I
spraying
thought he
him
was
because
double-digit
crazy.
IQ, but now it's pretty safe to say he's single-digit IQ. The dude completely dominates the chart for being the dumbest streamer alive. Like, he must want to be unemployed because he's found this whole niche where he can support himself off of being an absolute degenerate. Why is he putting all of this at risk, including his life? But I mean, probably similar to Neon, I don't think there's too much consequential thinking going on here. Or else I guess he wouldn't have spent 90 days in Japanese jail. But his stupidity is just baffling because I had no idea it was going to get this bad. But he runs away until police actually stop him, and then he completely switches up.
They're attacking me. I like what? I'm going. I'm American. I'm American. Okay. I'm American. I know. They attacked me. So you saw what? You saw what they did, right? You saw they attacked me, right? Yeah. Get those. Yeah, you saw it. You saw they attacked me. You saw it. Here, hold it. Talk to translate. Hold it. Translate. I don't know what they're saying. What's he saying?
I am so confused in why he chose to go to Israel, as it seems like the consequences for everything there can be a whole lot worse. I guess he must just have a new liking for foreign jails, because if he keeps acting like this, that's where he's going to land. And speaking of, he ordered his Discord to dox the guy he fought with. So I guess, is doxing a crime in Israel? Well, it seems so. Why is he doing this to himself? I don't know. But towards the end of the stream, he decided to walk back to his hotel with a random stranger. And the stranger did not believe his interactions.
I genuinely don't believe that anyone would like try to jump you. But bro, that's just how it is.
You're a W man's, bro. I appreciate you. So you're saying don't judge my experience in the country off of that fight, off of some bullshit fight while drunk at the bar,
bro.
Don't judge my, because you can get in a bar fight. You can get in a bar fight anywhere. A street.
You can get a bar fight anywhere.
You can get a fight in the street in front of a bar anywhere. Canada, in America, anywhere.
Love here is very strong. People find others that they don't even connect with necessarily, and they build.
Look, everybody's been so chill with me in Israel. That was the first negative experience.
I guess that guy didn't know who he was talking to because just a few minutes later, he was jumped again. And it's almost eerie how unexpected it was for him.
First YouTube, first Rumble live stream. I'll call it a success. I'll call it a success for tonight. That was way more than anticipated. And I got 2 girls to hit up tomorrow. I gotta get some sleep though. Guys, that was like day 1. Oh!
Yeah, I cut it there, but it ends up with him being beat by something until the stream cuts. It just ends right there. So it has quite the eerie ending. Johnny did post on his Discord server that he was okay, but apparently his community is a little bit unsure if he's actually okay because he hasn't joined any voice communications yet. But it is safe to say he's now having a bad time. And to add some context here, the Twitter user Cancel Johnny's documented the entire live stream and said that he drank 14 shots of vodka to that stream. So that sounds like a great way to end up in a gutter somewhere. But after that extremely eventful Kick stream, he was banned on Kick. Actually, he was banned on Kick only 2 hours in, so he continued live streaming that from Rumble. And then after that, he was banned on Twitter as well. But his Kick ban is apparently for 1 week from what I can tell, but they might change that if they review the footage of what happened on his stream. So is this the end of the Johnny Somali saga? Who knows? Probably not though, but if you want to see another Kick streamer getting banned for the dumbest behavior possible, you can check out this video right here. And I'm gonna breathe because I cannot breathe from my nose currently because pollen allergies and the flu. So I'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, like I said, what is like it's this sort of behavior wouldn't be allowed, like, I mean, allowed 10 years ago, like in actually public and stuff like that. But it's like, you know, this whole thing with social media is allowed people to get to the stage where they feel empowered by the most weirdest sort of, you know, support. We used to call them the useful idiots or the class clown, but like, but now it's like the village clown, right? It's out there in the village, you know, it's out in the country there, it's out in overseas clown, right? They've taken the clowning global, right? Which is kind of sad. It might seem funny because I was just listening to myself say that and I was like, yeah, it seems funny, but it's not. It's quite dangerous. And I think, you know, as these guys are finding out, like not everybody is happy with you treating their country, their fellow countrymen this way. And you know, the way they're doing it, like they don't want to be made fun of. They don't want to be their country being made fun of, their legal system being made fun of. You know, I mean, of course, you saw some other ones over there in Japan. It's like want to take part in it because they think there's some money in it. You know, but at the end of the day, that's actually come back to bite them in the ass, right? Those people who actually in Japan were like, you know, because now it's affecting other streamers in Japan. Now there's laws being forced that you can't do this, you can't do this. This is, you know, because they want to protect their local, you know, their local people going about doing their work. So I am going to finish off here with this. I got one done and I got almost there. Wow, it's almost 3 hours of doing this. So, you know, hopefully, you know, you guys got to hang out, have a bit of fun with me, watching the video clips, seeing some, you know, response, my comments on it, and also got to see me do some artwork. Something, you know, a lot of you guys didn't know I did, which I guess in a way is like cool, you know, to be able to share this part of my you know, creativity with you guys. And we'll be back with number 5 because this is going to be like, you know, part 5, I should say. This is going to be ongoing until I finish this. And every new setting will be a new part until this is finished, right, and ready to be handed over. So thank you for joining me wherever you are. Be well. Have a good day. Be safe and have an amazing Easter weekend with your family and friends wherever you are. Thank you. I appreciate it. And as I always say, right, especially this weekend, if you've got a loved one close by, let them know you give them a hug and a kiss. Let them know that you care. And if they're not nearby, send them a message, text, whatever, however you do it. Let them know that because you don't know who needs that today. So thank you. Ka kite anō. We'll see you next time. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. And we'll catch up with you soon.